Make a marker. Okay, so let's see if JJ has any notes here. Okay, so yeah, so it's worth noting that JJ was one of the early submissions. He was like one of the first 10. But back then, when I was starting them, now I keep notes on what I'm telling people because I've been getting a lot of repeat submissions. So I've been keeping notes just really short, just like a line of just kind of what I discussed, just so we can check back in with people and see if they improved in those specific areas. But unfortunately for JJ's first review, he was so early on. I don't have notes on that, and it was a month ago, so I definitely do not remember. Also, there's been like a million Venoms, so we will see. But JJ says, I've been following a lot of what you told me, and JJ sees the improvement. So we'll see. Let's see what we get here. So what is it? This? Okay. Wait. Faust? Wait. Who's playing Faust in this one? Interesting. Okay. I mean, that's totally fine. This is going to be the first submission where someone was playing two different characters. I wonder if he realized that. Yeah, I had to like double check in the spreadsheet from the form if he put me. I thought maybe I read it wrong or I was looking at the wrong person, so I just wanted to go back and see the other matches. But my old submissions had a Kai match. Oh yeah. All right, so we'll see Faust here. Nice, very nice. Okay. Mini Robokai. He's coming. Yeah. Gotta respect that. So let me see something. What did you do with the Mini Robokai out? Oh, let me turn on. I hate that this gets reset. I don't understand why this gets reset. Okay, so what did you do? I'm guessing you tried to grab or command grab? Yeah. So just a little too far. I like the idea, though. Especially, most people would be a little more defensive with the Mini Robokai coming down, but he had so much time that, he could afford to hit a button here. But the Mini Robokai with the hookup. So this spot, did you hit a button and you just did it too soon? Yeah, you did. So, okay, I just wanted to make sure that you hit a button here because this situation where you hit the drill this low, you are definitely plus here. You just hit 2K too soon, but that's fine. Just as long as you're hitting something here, because it's a good spot for you. I would tend towards 5P, but 2K is fine too. I'm just really big on Faust 5P. I just really like it as a button. It's just like it's his fastest button. It's just a really good hitbox. It hits like kind of high. Sometimes it hits them trying to jump and stuff like that. I just really like that button a lot. But 2K is fine too. 2K obviously has the advantage of being a low. So what happened here? Oh. Yeah, I mean, this is understandable that you got hit. He RC'd. Caught you off guard probably. What'd you try to do? Are you trying to faultless? Try to... Faultless, it looks like. You were faultlessing. I like the little use of faultless here, by the way. Just for the extra pushback. Almost made a sweep miss. You try to 5P. I like the attempt. So, at this kind of range, this is the weakness of 5P, right? Is that it doesn't quite go as far. So, in these kind of situations, when you're poking, if you don't really know which range you're going to be in, maybe 2P is the ideal button here. Yeah, this was like just out of range. Is there a way to punish Faust? Jump K? Do you mean jump 2K? The drill? Nice tech. So this makes a lot of sense that you got hit by this, because when they did it earlier in the round, you didn't flinch. Right here. And the Axel here, like, completely just had it predetermined in their mind what they were going to do. So they just anticipated you jumping and tried to preemptively anti-air. I know this is from the other perspective, but I just feel obligated to talk about this for any Axels out there. I know we're going to be talking about AlexTwoD in a little bit, but I just don't think, especially in this position on the screen, I really just don't like the... I feel like this is something that Axel players just do, and they all see each other do it, so they all, you know, think that it's something you should be doing or something. I don't know. It's like a monkey see, monkey do kind of thing, because they all do it. Every Axel does this. And in some spots, I think it's okay. I've talked about it before, but in this spot, in this position, why are you anticipating the jump? Why wouldn't you just do the fake and then just block? And then when you see the jump, just anti-air them. Like, you just hold the corner. You don't have to guess, because what a bad spot to put yourself in if they don't jump like this. Obviously, JJ could have hit a button here. I don't know what was up with the pogo or the scalpel pull here, but yeah, just like any faster button, just I would have just hit far slash. Once I saw this whiffing, I just hit far slash. But yeah, the fact that you didn't flinch against the fake command grab, the fake unblockable, whatever you want to call it, it makes a ton of sense that they would do the real one here. The Rasho fake automatic 6K is such a bad habit. Yeah, like in some cases it's okay. And so just, I talked about this already, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but like, I understand the idea, because the idea is that if you wait and reactively anti-air them, they have more time to react, to realize like, oh, it was the fake command grab. Now I'm vulnerable. I should faultless in the air. But the reality is, a good player is just going to jump and faultless on the way up anyway. So the odds of that actually mattering, I think, are incredibly low against a good player. So you're basically weighing the tiny odds of that mattering, where they didn't faultless on the way up for some reason, and you catch them like immediately as they're jumping, which again I think is very unlikely to matter. You're weighing that versus how open you're leaving yourself when you just do the 6K and they don't jump, which I think is way more significant. And that's why when I talked about it originally, I think when you're really far on the screen, it's kind of okay, because the whole like leaving yourself open when you whiff the 6K, it's like, who cares? Against most characters, they're not going to be able to do anything anyway. It's going to go over their head and they're going to be full screen. It's not going to matter. But in that spot in the corner, I think that's like the worst. That's like a perfect example of a spot to not do the preemptive 6K like that. It just makes no sense to me. So what did you do here? Oh. Wait, are you doing 2H? Yeah. I don't think it would have mattered what you hit, but 2H was definitely not what you should have, the speed of what you should... Yeah, see, there, perfect, perfect! And here we see exactly what I'm talking about. Guess the 6K, and get hit for it for no reason. I mean, it wasn't a huge punish, but why? Like, why open yourself up to that? Oh, no. Yeah, you're struggling. Oh, a little too far. Oh, that's unfortunate. I feel like you're just not using the far slash in this matchup. I don't really know... Oh, you could have picked up off this. So this is a common foul situation. It's actually, like, pretty... You have a lot of time to... Why did that hit me? How did it whiff on you? What happened? What did you do that it whiffed? What the hell? Why did it hit me? Just because you blocked for a second? Why isn't it whiffing on me? Oh, weird. The faultless. Is it like a proximity thing? If I just hit nothing? No. What is happening here? That is so bizarre. Yeah, I have to like tap faultless and then stop. But yeah, when this hits, you have like a lot of time to see it and then pick up with 2S actually. This is like a really weird thing, but yeah, there we go. I don't know why the bomb bag is so crazy. But yeah, you can pick up off of this. It's a pretty common thing, so it's like something you should be looking for, but even if you don't, like, you get really good Oki off it, obviously, you have all the time in the world, so... Yeah, I feel like you're just not using far slash enough in this matchup. Again, I'm definitely not a Faust versus Axel expert, and maybe, you know, the Axel would be able to adjust to the far slash usage with other things to shut it down, but again, it's all about, you know, making your opponent do that so that it opens up avenues, you know, for you to do other things, like throw items or, you know, whatever. So, all right, let's switch over to Venom here. Purple match. The far slash round start from Axel, love it. What did you start with? It wasn't 2S. Far slash, okay, that makes sense. What'd you try to do? Throw? Yeah, you try to throw. Yeah, so you gotta be careful of this. I mean, you gotta be very sure when you're trying to wake up throw that they're actually in throw range. Okay, nice. Ooh, not enough time for the carcass. So one thing with this, well, actually what I was gonna say is not true, never mind. Nice by Alex. So this this string 2K2S2D, this is one of the reasons that I typically don't do this. I think it's better. I mean, I shouldn't say better because there's definitely pros and cons, but this is a really big con to doing this string because you never want to whiff the first hit of sweep for exactly this reason. So for those who don't know, the way Venom's, it's not even Venom sweep. It's basically, I want to say any multi-hitting move. I don't know if that's actually true, but maybe there's some exceptions. But the majority, or almost all. Hey JJ, we're going over your matches. JJ, did you realize that one of the matches you submitted was Faust? Were you aware of that? It's 2 Venom matches and 1 Faust match. So we just did the Faust match. Now we're moving on to the Venom ones. Okay, I wasn't sure if you realized. Okay. Did you ask? It was so long ago, I forgot already. It was a couple of weeks ago. No worries. No, it's fine. There's no problem. I just wasn't sure if you were aware. So, yo, what's up, JB? So, for those who don't know the way this works, and this is true for, I think every multi-hitting move. Maybe there's some exceptions, but let's just say generally every multi-hitting move. As long as the first hit hits, the whole thing is cancelable. So obviously, multi-hitting moves may have multiple cancel windows, you know, or the whole thing may be a cancel window, like in this case. Basically, for 2D, after the first hit, it's just cancelable for the whole rest of the move, like through the recovery at any point. But other moves, you know, they may have multiple cancel windows, but as long as you make contact with the first hit, the whole thing's going to be cancelable, even if the second hit whiffs, and that part of it can be very tricky. It's better in Exerd because of YRC. This is like super common in Exerd, where you would do one hit sweep, and then they'd be out of range of the second hit, and then they would see like, oh, the second hit is whiffing. They go to hit a button, and you use Stinger YRC. You can do that in this game with Stinger FRC. It's just the reward is not as high, so it's like, you know, not as good. So I was waiting for 2D2 before. Well, I'm just showing JJ how you got pushed out because you did 2K 2S 2D and the 2D whiffed. So I was just going to talk a little bit about the difference between 2K 2S 2D and just 2K 2D. Because if you had just done 2K 2D, even if they faultless the 2K, you'll always be in range for the 2D, so this will never happen. The disadvantage of doing that is that you get your options are a little bit more limited as far as what you can do, because once you do 2D against really good opponents, they'll know that there's a gap in between the hits, and they may reversal or jump or do things like that. So yeah, you have all your cancel options, but none of them are especially strong except for Stinger FRC, which even that is like medium strong. You know what I mean? It's not even like super strong. So whereas if you do 2K2S, you have, you know, a little more latitude for what you do. Yeah, JJ, these are your old submissions. I was actually going to ask, you weren't here when I started, so I just went ahead and did it, because you submitted twice. So I was going to see, I wasn't sure if it was a resubmission, and you wanted me to just do the other ones, but it didn't look like it, because you submitted one from a beginner tournament and then one from Channel Points. So I was just going to do both, but I'm going to do the other set another night. So these are the original ones that you submitted. But yeah, so I guess the bottom line here is, if no problem, JJ. If your opponent is consistently doing this, if they're consistently using faultless to push you out of your sweep range, and you're doing something like this, you know, because this can also happen with close slash. It doesn't have to be 2S. Then you need to make sure you're doing shorter strings into 2D, or just avoid doing 2D in general. So yeah, and that's why generally, even just looking at the difference between something like 2K2S2D versus 2K close slash 2D, close slash is just infinitely better, because again, you can avoid the situation, because you can do 2K close slash and then do 2 hits of the close slash and visually see that they're faultlessing and know not to do the sweep, because you know it's going to whiff. So yeah, 2K2S2D is just, I think it's one of the weaker strings. So it's a good, you know, learning string, because it's easy to get a down charge for Carcass and that kind of thing. It's a good, like, starter string, but it's not a string I use much anymore because of the weaknesses. What were you doing here? So you definitely meant to do Mad Struggle. I just want to see if you missed a dash or something. Oh, you did. Right, you tried to dash right here, but you didn't get it. And then I guess it threw you off? Yeah, and then you jumped. Okay. So the idea, I think, was probably in your head that you wanted to do dashing Mad Struggle, and then it kind of got thrown off there. I just wanted to see what your intention was here, because we talked about this a lot. I've talked about this with multiple Venoms, how, you know, this spot right here, this position, this distance in the corner, this is a hold your ground kind of position, you know, and especially the Axel, like, completely, Alex, completely hung themselves here by doing an IAD. So, you know, this could have been an air throw or something like that. You had already committed, so it's fine. It's not like you missed an opportunity or something. You just made a choice. I was just curious why you made the choice, because that's a common spot where you just let them hang themselves. Okay, nice. Nice. Okay. She just went for something simple here. Missed the conversion, but that's okay. Yeah, see, so in all these spots where you're doing 2S, I would be doing close slash. Like here, you dash all the way up. The only time I would do 2S is if you're going to do it from this range. But once you make the commitment to dash all the way up, you basically always want to do close slash. It's just better. It's just It's just like objectively better, basically. There's really no advantage to using 2S from this range. I guess the only argument you could make is just to throw your opponent off. Maybe do something like 2S 5H. Make it look like maybe you're messing up or something like that, which is very legitimate. But that's not what you did here. You did 2S2D. So yeah, I think I would just do close slash in basically all of those spots. I like the stinger there a lot. I like the hesitation too. Okay. Got the burst. Spent some meter. Okay, so these kind of spots, something that I'm always trying to be aware of when I play. First of all, you want to realize immediately, look at how long you've been sitting on full meter. Okay? Look at how long this is. Full meter. Sitting, 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 full meter, full meter, full meter. All this time. So you should know by now that you're on full meter. Generally, anytime you're on full meter, you want to spend meter. Because you're basically, for all of the time that you're sitting on full meter, you're essentially wasting meter. Because you're not building meter, right? So it's almost like you're wasting meter. Sometimes you do want to hold it. But generally, you want to spend 25% so that you can continue to build it. So, you know, once I'm in a spot like this where I full meter, I'm just looking for the first opportunity to spend 25%. So, like here, like you did this Oki, which was totally fine. But then here, on this block string, I would have done something into Stinger FRC. Just to repressure, spend some meter, try to get a hit. Maybe they flinch and you get a hit. But then here, having not spent the meter, as soon as he bursts, I'm looking to immediately spend meter when I land. Now, there is a little bit of a risk, maybe, but not really. Against Axel, maybe he's going to, like, Rensen or something, but he's not in range. I would have just spent meter when I landed. I would have been charging on the way down. I would have either done a force break or I would have done tactical arch immediately when I landed. Because, again, look at the life situation, right? You're not going to need all this meter for the actual fighting in the round. If Axel gets on top of you, maybe you want 50% in the bank to dead angle, something like that. But odds are, you're not going to need that much meter. You know, you want to keep a little bit for an emergency, but you don't want to be sitting on 100%, that's for sure. Oh, and you did spend some there, so that's good. But see, the hesitation cost you. If you had just done that immediately, if you had been prepared to do it as soon as you land here, you wouldn't have been in the spot where now you hesitated and you got hit. Force Break Stinger or Formation Super, or Force Break Carcass, any of them, whichever one I was in the mood for. With 100 meter, I would probably do Tactical Arch. The combination of me having 100 meter and the Axel so low on life that the chip is going to be really significant, I would probably just do Tactical Arch. Yeah, and so here I like your patience. Again, I would have been looking for a spot. Don't forget you can do like far slash into Force Break Carcass just to push yourself out of the corner and get the advantage, get momentum. I've noticed I save a lot for dead angle, specifically against characters I don't know much. Yeah, and that's a good strategy. That's totally fine. But you know, there's a difference between saving 50% for dead angle and sitting on 100. And you recognized it for sure. And you spent, you know, you did Force Break, Stinger, FRC, which was great. It's just that you hesitated. You know, you need that awareness to be ready. Basically, again, the way I think of it is in my head, I'm already thinking, like, I want to spend meter. I just know, like, I have 100%, I want to spend meter. And then whatever the first opportunity is, I'm just going to spend it. Dead angle, FRC to repressure. In this spot where they burst, you go back to neutral, I'm going to spend meter. Whatever the first opportunity is, I'm already prepared that I'm in that mindset of spending meter. You know what I mean? That is unfortunate. Luckily, Alex didn't convert. Yeah, so you got frame trapped. What did you try to do here? Yeah, he stood up. Oops. Oh, that sucks. So one quick thing, in these spots, when you neutral jump and they get under you, I would not necessarily hit jump S on the way down. For an opponent that's under you, I would either do jump K or jump H. Yeah, one or the other. And if you're gonna do jump K, then you can do jump K, jump S. And there's pros and cons to both of those. And this is the con. So the jump K, jump S is going to be a little more, you know, finicky as far as getting them both to hit. It's gonna be a little bit distance dependent. But the advantage to this is, let me take control a little bit sooner actually. The advantage to this is, oh, you literally just jumped on wake up. Am I gonna be able to show this then? Well, I'll just say it. The advantage to this, which you've probably seen me do in matches, is when you're coming down with jump K, jump S, sometimes you hit them airborne, like they'll backdash or they'll, you know, jump or something like that. And once you get used to it and you're prepared, you can react to the fact that they're getting hit in the air and actually double jump cancel your jump S before you land. So you can do, you know, falling, jump K, jump S, you see that they're in the air, and then you double jump towards them, jump S, jump H, and you get a really nice knockdown off that. So that's the main advantage of it. Jump H, you know, is jump H. So see again this whiff, and you got punished for it too. So this is something you really need to be aware of. Whoa. Okay. Let's go. Oki. Ooh. Let's see this. Okay, so yeah, exactly. But see, that's the problem, JJ. I wouldn't even phrase it that you didn't react. It's not an issue of reacting. It's the issue starts before that, actually. The issue is that because of the string you did, because you did 2K2S, you couldn't react. So the advantage of doing something like 2K close slash is that you can react because you have more time to assess how they're blocking. The problem with 2S is that the cancel window is very small. So you cannot delay your cancel from 2S. So you're not really going to have time. In theory, if you're really on the ball, you'll be able to react. But practically, I you know, I'm not gonna hold you. You know, I'm not gonna say that that's a mistake. You know what I mean? The mistake is just that you did a string where you left yourself in a spot where you couldn't react. So, so with this combo, JJ, the way I like to do this combo, and I think some Venoms like to do it a little bit differently, but the way I like to do it is, let me just go back here for a second. I actually want to do it just to make sure that I'm remembering how I do it correctly. So weird to time. Wait, did I take control of one player or two player? Okay. Hello? Okay, what is happening? Okay. Yeah, okay. So the way I like to do it is because you need some dashes somewhere in the combo when you do the 6Ks. And so some people like to do all the dashing at the beginning. So like they'll do like this. So they'll do this, and then they'll dash really far in like this, and then at the end they won't dash for the second 6K. So they'll dash really far and then not dash at all. You can do it the opposite as well. You can not dash at the beginning and then do all the dashing at the end. Let's see if I can do it here. Come on. The timing is so weird. See, and then dash a lot there at the end. Or the way I like to do it is I like to micro dash the first 6K, and then the second 6K I'll micro dash again, but I can adjust it a little bit at that point because I can see the distance, and once you become really familiar with the combo, you kind of know how much you need to dash to get the right distance. Does that make sense? So, this, I don't know why this is dropping on Axel, actually. It's weird that it's dropping. There we go. It's hard to tell if it's black beating or not because of the replay bug, but there we go. I think I was just doing it too high. You do the first big dash. So the reason that I don't like the first dash being big is because in the corner, the ball goes off screen and it may not hit them. You can adjust that by using a different ball, I believe. But it just makes it, you know, makes it that much more difficult because now you're doing a different ball. But yeah. Yeah, I think with Axel you want to be like a little bit closer than the way I was doing it, but yeah. So just, it's something you can play around with. It's really whatever you're most comfortable with, but just be aware that you can mix and match the dashes. So just play with it and see what's the most comfortable for you, you know. Nice. So you basically did the way I do it here. It's just you did a tiny walk instead of a micro dash. So right here, you walked forward a little bit, which is essentially what I would do with a micro dash. It looks like you maybe tried to dash and just got a walk, but yeah. On counter hit, it tends to drop on 6K. Interesting. Try to throw a little bit out of range. I like the patience. So here, you know, small thing, takes practice, but you dashed in and got Alex to flinch here. Could have 6P'd, obviously. You had a good idea to 6H and anti-air, but 6P would have been better. Oh, nice. Yeah, you're trying to throw too much, I think. You keep getting hit by this. What are you trying to do here? Oh, you just stood up. You didn't even try to throw. You just stood up. Yeah, you just stood up. Yeah, you got to respect the string from Axel. The string is legit. Okay. Nice ball hit. So here, in this case, this is again 2K2S2D, but Alex didn't start faultlessing until later, so the 2D didn't whiff. Here, this is another awareness thing where you need to know as the Venom player that the second hit of your sweep is going to whiff. It was always going to whiff at this range. So if you want to stop them from mashing in this spot and punishing your 2D, you can do H Stinger FRC. So let's see. So something like this. Something like that. And you see how you can delay the cancel a little bit from the 2D, because once the 2D makes contact, it becomes cancelable for the rest of the move. So you intentionally leave a gap for them to hang themselves. And you can get big damage off this. Does that make sense? So again, it's just something you need to be aware of. And I'm not saying you should Stinger FRC every time, but if you suspect that they're going to try to whiff punish your sweep, you can actually, you know, make it not whiff or stop the whiffing, and do another attack. Ooh, couldn't convert it off that actually, but I think you didn't expect him to get hit by the second hit. Unfortunate. Could I repeat the combo? Yeah. Let me go back. The combo was just Stinger FRC, dash up, 2S5H. So like this. It's tricky. You have to get a really good FRC dash, especially if they get hit standing. If they get hit standing, it's pretty hard. And then you can FRC that as well if you want to extend it more. Oh, you didn't have meter. I was like, I'm trying to FRC it again. You didn't have meter. But yeah, if you have more meter, you can FRC it again. You get giant damage off that. Alright. I gotta move quicker. It's already like over 30 minutes, so I'm gonna go through this last review pretty quick, but we'll see if there's anything else that stands out. Went from 2-0 to 2-2. You mean 0-2 to 2-2? So here's another thing. I think maybe we talked about this, but anytime you do something like this, where you're doing jump P, you should buffer something behind it. So like another jump P or a jump S. I almost wonder here if you accidentally did the wrong ball and you thought you were doing a K ball and you were trying to jump P the K ball, in which case it makes more sense that you wouldn't buffer here. But just in general, when you're doing jump P like this, you should buffer something after it, just in case it hits. You can also just buffer jump H. If you just want something easy. It's not as good if they block your jump P, but, you know, still good. Ooh. Nice. Oh, you try to forward dash, and it turned into a back dash. Big punish? Oh, could have got more than that. Yeah, see, I would say the number one thing for sure is your default is definitely 2K, 2S, 2D, which again is a good, you know, learning string so that you know, develop the habit of building a down charge and stuff like that. But, yeah, I would try to slowly now work in 2K close slash instead of 2K, 2S. And you'll see you'll have way more options off of the close slash. Close slash is just like the bread and butter. It just goes into everything. It's jump cancelable. You know, you have multiple hits to cancel from, so you have more options. It has more block stun. It's just, you know, it's just an all-around, just all-star move. Close slash seems like the root of Venom offense. Yeah, it's for sure the cornerstone. It's like it's the like tree trunk that all the branches come from, basically. Whoa, that was pretty wild. Man, you are getting eaten up by 2H. You're just getting eaten up by the lows. You just got to respect more. You're not respecting Axel's. I know Axel's a zoner, so you know it's easy to not respect his pressure and his Oki and stuff, but he can still meet you, you know. So you do have to respect it a little bit and block. But But yeah, yeah. Overall, good stuff. I would say for sure. Number one thing, just start using close slash more instead of 2S. What was the other big thing we talked about? Well, I mean, the other stuff that we talked about with like canceling sweep and stuff like that, it all goes back to using close slash more instead of 2S in your pressure, because you won't even be in those situations as much unless you want to be in those situations. Sometimes I do those things intentionally where I'll do all 3 hits of close slash and then do 2D, knowing that the second hit of the 2D is going to whiff, and I'm trying to trick my opponent into hitting a button so that I can frame trap them with Stinger FRC, But the difference is you're choosing to do it, whereas when you do 2K 2S 2D, you're at the mercy of their block. If they choose to faultless, you're gonna have a bad time. So, but yeah, overall good stuff for sure. Thank you again for the submission, and you have another submission in the queue. But that you're going to be one of the last. You'll be in the last group, which will be probably during the week, hopefully. All right, so yeah, good stuff. Let's keep it moving. I gotta move a little quicker than this because I can't stay up too late tonight, and I want to get through all of these. So next up, we have Alex. So we were just watching AlexTwoD play against JJ. There's a lot of Axel tonight, guys. A lot of Axel tonight. So Alex also submitted. Oh, these are not Alex's matches. These are Alex's matches. All right, so let's make a marker. This is AlexTwoD playing Axel. Yeah, not the same, Noah, not the same. All right, so AlexTwoD says, okay, so had a first to 10 with his Dizzy. The Dizzy won the first 9, and then Alex won 1, and then they got the last game. So it ended up 10-1. So Alex tried to submit kind of a fair balance here. So an early loss early on in the set, and then the game that Alex won, and then the final game. So let's look at the time. So this has got to be the first one. Okay, so let's take a look. So this matchup, just before we even get into it, I think this is a matchup where Axel cannot run. It's like I've talked about this concept in a lot of other matchups. Venom versus Robokai, Venom versus Ephelle. Any matchup where the character traditionally zones most characters, but then they get out-zoned from full screen. This is another example of that matchup. Rensen does not go full screen. So as the Axel player, if you just don't move forward, there's going to be a range, like 2/3 of the screen, right? Like max Rensen range, where you are just dominant, right? But the Dizzy can actually move backwards to increase their advantage, to make an advantageous situation. So it is the Axel's responsibility to match that movement, and if the Dizzy moves back, the Axel has to move forward. And you need to be in 5P range, you need to be in Rensen range, you need to be able to contest, because if you don't, and you let Dizzy back up, she's just going to start summoning fish and, ice needles and, whatever the hell she wants, and once that stuff is on the screen, Axel's not competing with that. And especially I could see fish being especially annoying because it's going to take certain things off the table, like 5P, 2P, stuff like that, depending on where the fish is. 2P might always go under it, I'm not sure, but yeah. So before we even jump into it, I think that's the general approach, so we'll see how it actually pans out here. So like, this is a perfect example already, just immediately at the beginning. So you get the hit early on. The Renson doesn't combo. You know she's going to tech out. There was hesitation here. And you let her summon a fish for free. I don't know how realistically you really would have been able to contest this because the Renson has so much recovery. But you could have at least been in a position to 5p the fish before she could really do much about it. And now you're just on defense. Okay, nice. Preemptive 6k. Good awareness on the bubble. Dizzy mix up. Dizzy mix up. Okay, one last chance. Big chance. Can you get out of the corner? Nice. Okay. Oh, I would have FRC'd that. Did you try? Oh, you didn't even try. This is like an auto FRC to me. I would have delayed the cancel on the Renson and just... I would have already, like... This kind of spot where you are down on life, you know, you're basically about to die. You got to spend that cash, and you need a hit, right? You need the comeback. So the most probable way you're going to get that hit is to create a frame trap and try to catch them. So I would have, because you did 2D here, right, into Renson? Yeah. So you did 2k 2D Renson. I would have done 2k 2D delay Renson FRC. At worst, they're going to block, and you're going to repressure, which, again, is still, you know, giving you an opportunity to steal this round. You know, maybe you can bait the dead angle after the repressure, because another like common psychological thing, I've never really talked about this, but a really common psychological thing is that if you spend meter, the opponent feels the urge to spend meter. You know what I mean? So if you do something here like Renson FRC dash up, the opponent is kind of encouraged to try to match your meter expenditure because it's such an advantage for you. They want to try to even out that advantage, right? So it's very common in situations like that, and especially in a round-ending situation like this, I would go so far as to say it's probably like 90%, if I had to guess, how likely it would be for the Dizzy to dead angle if you were to have done Renson FRC and then dash up. I don't even think it's monkey see, monkey do rupture. I think it's just more like when you do something like Renson FRC and then dash up or something like that, it's such a strong position. You're in such a powerful position because of the meter, you know, because of the meter expenditure, that from a defensive standpoint, you can feel that you are at a severe disadvantage, right? Because again, the Renson FRC, like you're in block stun, he's running in your face. You're not really sure, are you going to be in throw range? When is the block stun ending? Is he going to do a low? Is he going to throw? Like, you know, it's just like such a bad spot. So you instinctively feel that severe disadvantage. And in a normal situation, let's say there was a way to get into that severe of a disadvantage without them having spent meter, you may not want to spend meter because it feels bad that they did something meterless and you had to spend meter to nullify it. Does that make sense? But if they create the situation by spending meter, it's almost like you're like justified in a way, or you feel more it's like when you buy something because it's on sale. You know what I'm saying? It's like you feel more like you're allowed to spend the meter. Yeah, like encouraged. You feel more, you know, like it's more okay that you spend the meter in this way. You know what I mean? So you're in this severe disadvantage and you want to fix it. You want to get out of the situation, and you're like, well, he just spent meter, so it can't be that bad if I also spend meter. We're just 1 for 1 on meter usage, right? Even though in this case it's 25 versus 50 or, you know, whatever, but generally it just feels better, right? And you see this all the time. Like, it's not always tension to tension. Sometimes, like, how many times have you seen somebody get a hit and then they RC to extend the combo and then the person bursts, right? It's the exact same idea where, you know, on the normal hit you're like, I don't really want to burst this, not really worth it. But it's like, well, they spent meter, so now I'm getting more bang for my buck, right? It's the exact same idea. It's like, well, he just FRC'd to extend the pressure, So I'm getting more bang for my buck if I dead angle now, right? Like, if I dead angle before, I'm just out 50% meter, and, you know, maybe I was just going to get out of the pressure anyway. But he just spent meter, so now, if I spend meter, it's not as bad, right? Does that make sense? So, again, just going back to this situation, there's like 0% chance I would do anything other than frame trap into Rents and FRC. And I think it gives you multiple opportunities to steal this round. Number one, just in the frame trap itself if they get hit. And number two, because you're putting them in a much more intense situation where you're more likely, because when you're this far behind, you need to take some kind of risk. I mean, you don't technically have to. There is a world where you win off of being completely solid and nickel and diming them, and you just do everything perfect. But realistically, I think the way you maximize your win percentage is by taking some good risks and trying to just make a read. And the thing is, it's not like you're making a crazy read. You know, if you do Rents and FRC and you dash up to them and you do some kind of pressure that's safe to dead angle, although Axel, I guess, doesn't really have too much of that. He doesn't have like a good, 5P that he can do or something like that. But, just dash up and hesitate or dash up in 2K nothing. You're not taking a huge risk, but you're making a read where if you're right, you could easily steal the round, So yeah, it's just an interesting situation. But yeah, there's like no chance I would do anything other than Rents and FRC. I would do it 100% of the time. There's just no way it goes wrong, basically. What a round start. We saw that round start against JJ, actually. Ooh, Dizzy's mix-up is so good, man. So, I mean, this is the classic, right? We don't need to talk about this too much, but you burst, you dash up, you want to get out of the corner. They tech your burst and just air dash in. This is just every character, every matchup, every matchup. You just got to be ready for this. When you burst, you got to be ready to 6P. This is just Guilty Gear 101. Something that everybody does, really. Nice. Yeah, unfortunate. So, watching that match, you are doing a good job contesting, and the Dizzy is not just getting free reign to just summon. The problem now is just that, again, you need to match and then go to the next level based on what your opponent is doing. So you can see here the Dizzy was actually being very aggressive, right? Doing multiple IEDs in. So once you've taught them that you are going to move in and you're not going to give them free reign to just summon, then once you see, like, okay, they're not trying to summon anymore, then you can take a step back and be a little more passive. You don't want to make it obvious because you don't want them to then start summoning. But you want to be ready and just take a tiny step back mentally, a little more passive, so that when they hang themselves with something like an IED or, just something overly aggressive where they overextend, you can actually, take advantage and stop it. Oh. I forgot 5P is 2 hits in this game. Played so much Strive a week ago. I forgot 5P is 2 hits in this game. So what I said about the fish earlier actually is way off. 5P is just always going to be good against fish, actually. I mean, it's a little weaker when the first hit gets eaten, but it's still going to be good. So the other thing, just to continue that last point a little bit more, your poking choice should also be dependent on how you feel the opponent is playing. And it's especially important, again, in a matchup like this where you're playing this cat and mouse where you are traditionally the zoner, but in this matchup you're not. You're still zoning her, but you're zoning her almost a little bit aggressively where you're trying to stay in this very specific range and you're not just running. And so your poke choices need to reflect what your opinion of their current level of aggression is, if that makes sense. So again, going back to this level of, okay, the Dizzy is not trying to zone, they are IDing in, they're poking, they're moving in, they're being, you know, on the scale of aggressive and not aggressive, they're towards the aggressive side. Pokes like 2H you should be very careful with those. You should be limiting those, because again, if you are expecting things like IAD from Dizzy, you are just opening yourself up by doing something like 2H. Now again, this goes back to, you don't necessarily want to be obvious about what level you're playing at and what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. So you still may want to do 2H to some degree, but you want to really be trying to do it when you are very confident that they're going to be on the ground and it's not going to whiff. Because the problem is, see, again, if you're reading a different level from your opponent, and let's say you're currently reading like they're being patient, they're not trying to zone, but they're not being reckless and aggressive. They're just being patient at mid-range. Same matchup. We're still talking about Dizzy Axel. Then something like 2H becomes much more reasonable, because the odds of you getting heavily punished for it are much lower. If the Dizzy is not representing IED, then 2H is a perfectly reasonable thing. You know, if they're doing a lot of neutral jumping or, you know, dash blocking, 2H is great. But again, once you start seeing, and I'm just emphasizing this because we saw it very strongly at the end of the last game, and I know there are some games in between the last game and this game, so it might have changed already for this match, for this game, but, you know, if you are reading a lot of air dashes, 2D or 2H is not where you want to be. You want to be with your 5Ps, your far slashes, your occasional preemptive 6Ks, your IED back jump S's or neutral jump S's. These are the kind of buttons. Whatever, you know, your choice to poke should be covering what you expect your opponent to do. And it sounds obvious, but it's really important. So it just scares me when, you know, early on in this game, you know, we're seeing 2H used as like a primary poke. What'd you hit? Throw? Yeah. Reasonable, but gotta be careful with that. Okay, 2H was good there. See, and this is a good example, right? The jump. So, you know, don't be afraid to use 5P and close slash in those kind of spots. It's almost like you're training like a dog or something. You know what I mean? You want to encourage the behavior that you want and discourage the behavior that you don't want. Does that make sense? So if you're doing a lot of 2H and I'm Dizzy, I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna IAD over this. Like, and this is already what I was doing anyway, so this is great. Whereas if you're doing like 5P a lot as your primary poke, if I'm Dizzy now, I'm thinking, well, I need to like dash block and try to crouch it and maybe whiff punish it, or back up and summon. You know what I mean? So it's like, you want to be constantly on the opposite side of your opponent. If they're IDing, you want to be doing whatever you need to do to shut down the ID, and then looking for them to switch it up. And spoiler alert, a lot of opponents will not switch it up. You'll just win a lot of matches by reading what the opponent is doing the thing to counter that thing, and they'll just kill themselves. Okay, really nice round start. Okay. Really good round so far. Dizzy not respecting. I would do the same Oki. You did. Okay. Unfortunately, you were just a little bit too close that the burst didn't whiff, but nothing wrong with that. I love this. I love this. This is great. Love that round. What's up, JJ? Another good round start. See, and here again, 2H, and you got IED'd on. Now again, I don't want to fault you for this too heavily, because I know there were a lot of games in between. So without watching all the games and seeing the progression, it's totally reasonable or totally possible that this 2H was very reasonable. But just from what we've seen, just from these two games, I would be hesitant to be 2Hing from these ranges until I was more convinced that they're not going to IED on me. Just as you said, Soul, in your match did exactly that. I continue to ID every ball summon. Yeah. I mean, some people, some people are not able to have the awareness while they play to realize that they're reacting the same way over and over, and it's getting them killed, Stupid annoying fish on top of you. Yeah, I love the jump S. Jump S is just such a fucked up move. It really is. Nice. Caught the tech. Nice. Okay. This 2H was much more reasonable because you were doing it as the Dizzy was coming down. So, they jumped and then, they were most likely going to be there. They could have ID'd or they could have air dashed right before they landed, but they didn't, so. Alright, let's watch this third one. So this is the 11th game in the set. Nice. So can you just, 5P here as Axel? So they burst, they do fish. Right here, can you just 5P? Because you see the fish start up while you're knocked down, so you know what the situation's going to be here. Yeah, this is, pretty safe, right? Let me rewind it a little bit more. Oh, I'm getting 6P. Still getting 6P. Yeah, I mean, this seems pretty safe. Especially because you can do stuff like that. Can you do 5P, 6P? No. But yeah. Can you do 5P, 6K in this game? Yeah. So yeah, I would do something like this. It didn't look real to me at speed during the match, and it definitely does not seem real. I mean, obviously there's a bunch of stuff she could do here, but I think the risk is better for you. The risk versus reward situation is just better. I mean, what you did was totally fine too. It was very solid. Just getting out from under the fish, basically. And again, the burst into the immediate air dash back in. Gotta be ready for that. Now you're in trouble. Good defense. Oh, the 5th overhead got you or whatever. Yeah. The air dash back, air dash forward is trickier. Because until you have a lot of Dizzy experience, it's not something that people typically are looking for. Milia also. So many 2Hs. You got away with one there, and then you got away with another one there. But see, you got to be aware of this. This should be like a giant red flag. You just whiffed 2Hs, completely whiffed, and you got away with murder on both of them. You gotta recognize that, okay, maybe 2H is not the button I should be hitting in these spots. And again, it's about training the opponent, right? If they're spending all this time airborne, let them hang themselves. Just do nothing. Start looking for the jumps and doing 5P or 2S or whatever, 6P. And eventually, if they're good, they'll stop, and then you go back to 2H. And if they don't stop, you just win. So, punish? Oh, you tried. Okay. The fish got hit by the second hit of the jump S, and it definitely messed up your timing. That is unfortunate. Ooh, yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, overall, good stuff. I think you, I think the main problem was just too much 2H. The core of the issue, when you boil it all the way down, the root of the issue is that you need to pay more attention to the opponent and what the opponent is representing, which options they're representing. We talk about this all the time during these reviews. It's awareness. You know, watching how is my opponent playing? Are they being aggressive? Are they being passive? What options are they representing the most? And then formulating, you know, once you get really comfortable with your character, you won't even have to formulate. It'll just be a switch. You'll just know, okay, they're doing X, Y, and Z. I need to do A, B, and C, and you just already know the answers for the play style or for the options they're representing. But in general, when you're learning, just trying to understand, again, that level of aggression and what options they're representing, you can formulate a very simple plan on the spot just by thinking about what points on the screen do you need to cover. And this is a little more specific for like zoning type characters or mid-range type characters, but it matters a lot for them because you have all these different options. Like Venom is very similar. You know, I can cover all these different angles. I have all these different pokes, but you need to select the right one because as soon as you choose the wrong one, like we were seeing here with 2H, you get IED'd over and you explode. So, all the work that you did, all the nickel and diming you did just gets undone. So it's very, very important that you really pay attention to what the opponent is telling you and you respond appropriately. But yeah, I think that was really the main problem you were having. So just taking some notes. Okay. So yeah, awesome stuff. Thank you again for the submission. So what is happening with my spreadsheet? I see. Okay, so that's this and this. And all right, we got a few more. Just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I am. I need to check off Alex's redemption. Mark is complete. JJ also. Okay. Okay. So next up, we've got more Axel. Hope you guys like Axel. This will be the last Axel for tonight, but by the way, I saw Railgun in here earlier, right? Is Railgun still here? Because I think you are in this group, by the way, for tonight. Or am I lying? I think you're the last one. Did I just lie? I think I just lied, maybe. You're either last in this group or you're first in the next group. But I think you're last in this group. How many have I done? I've only done 2, right? So it should be... Wait, I just realized I'm completely missing someone. Hold on a second. We did these. No, we didn't do these. What is happening? Hold on a second. I'm confusing myself. Hold on, hold on. Okay. I see. Yeah, okay. Scratch that, I see what I did. Sorry, Railgun, you're not going to be tonight. I see what I did. Okay, so this is going to be... I think it's Ephelle and Rupture are the other two, right? Yeah. Okay. We're good. Okay. It's just I was getting a little confused because Ephelle and Rupture both resubmitted, so they're lower on the list. So I was only looking at the next 5, but it's because I crossed out their original submissions. So okay, we're good. Just gonna cash out and unlock every Rhine emote word. Mocha. No, Mocha, you're gonna be in the next group. You're gonna be in the next group. Whenever the next session is, could be tomorrow. Unlikely, but could be tomorrow if I do a late night stream. Otherwise, it'll be during the week. Not Monday. So like Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. Nice, JJ. Okay, so anyway, so the next one, I mean, it doesn't really matter what order I do these because we're definitely going to do them all tonight. But the next one is Ephelle. So I said we were going to do another Axel. We will, but not next. It's going to be in another 1 or 2. Yeah. Actually, probably Lurkin, the other Axel, is going to be last. So it's going to be Ephelle, then Rupture, and then Lurkin. Okay. So something in my throat. Okay, review. Ephelle. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Make a marker. Let's look at Ephelle's notes. So, again, this is a resubmission. So, in the original submission, Ephelle said they were struggling with the soul matchup, and those were all soul matches. We're not going to be looking at those. And then in the resubmission, they purposely submitted some more varied replays. So Ephelle said, for Soul, I'm trying to learn how to wake up, parry OS his safe jump, but the rest of his pressure tears me apart, so we'll look at that. He also seems to have the advantage in neutral. Yeah, you played Jam, that's going to happen. And then, what else have we got here? Oh, my throat. Feel like I spend the whole match blocking. Same with Kai. Bridget is probably the matchup I am most lost on at the moment. I figure I need to snipe him out of the air with a card special, but I have a hard time finding opportunities. I'm also having a lot of trouble dealing with Starship, so I can't really get anything going on him even when I do hit him. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look. A lot to potentially talk about. Hey, what's up, Seth? Seth, you sent me a submission. You are actually literally the last person who got a submission in. It was a week ago. That's when I cut it off. Oh, is this you, Yo-Yo? Is this match you down here? We're just gonna go top down. Alright, so versus Soul, we're gonna keep an eye on the Oki situations, on the pressure. Didn't get to submit the points. Don't worry about it, Seth. You'll owe me when I open it back up. Don't worry about it. You're good. What the hell happened already? How did this go so wrong already? He backed up. Okay. So one quick thing, I'll point this out until the end of time because I hate it. I'll never understand it, and I hate it. Fuck this OTG, dude. If anybody watching Soul OTGs you, always tech this. There's stuff he can do, but it's like whatever. He can like do some, you know, weird shit and maybe air throw you, like, you know, grab your tech or whatever. Don't worry about it. Just always tech this. Because if you tech this, you put him in such a bad spot. I will never understand ever why Souls do this. They OT Barbar here, who I'm very familiar with, is a good player. Barbar didn't even do. Usually you would see 2K into Gunflame, and the idea is that it OTGs you and the Gunflame meaties you afterwards, but that's only if you don't tech the OTG. And the reason that I never understand this is because you don't have to do OTG 2K to get a meaty Gunflame. You got the knockdown. You already got the meaty Gunflame. Just do Gunflame. If your goal was to get a meaty Gunflame, you did it. Just do nothing. All you're doing is opening yourself up to losing your Oki. I just cannot. I don't understand it. Just, look for this and tech. I'm missing the tech. Hello? Oh, you got hit out of the air also. I didn't even realize that this was an air hit. So you actually could have teched the sweep also. But yeah, you just tech this and they get nothing. You're just gone. So yeah, it's and if they cancel into Gunflame, sometimes depending on the distance, you can just come down with a button, with jam, maybe jump H, and you'll hit them if they do Gunflame. So yeah, it's Omega whack. I hate it. I'll never be okay with it. But yeah, so I didn't even notice the first time. Oh, it's because the sweep didn't hit you. I see. You got anti-aired, that's why. Yeah, so you could have teched, but it's fine. All right, so let's. Normally, I wouldn't be so critical here of the pressure, but specifically since you asked about pressure, we'll look at it in a little more detail. We'll put some focus on it. Okay, so number one thing, and you probably know some or all of this already, but I'm just going to state it for everybody's sake and just in case you don't know it. So this is 2S. 2S is +3. This is one of the few things that you really need to respect, especially if Soul does it this close. If Soul does it from further away, you can still choose to disrespect it, but you want to be aware this is +3. When he does it this close, it's pretty hard to disrespect this. He could just not move and just do 2P or micro dash 5K, and it's going to be basically anything you do. So, if you're trying to disrespect in this specific spot, you better be real sure. You better be doing a DP or a backdash or parry into something, because it's unlikely he's going to do a low. From this range, he could totally do a low also, but yeah, and that's why you get counter hit here. What'd you hit? Sweep? Yeah. Well, actually, no, you hit 2P? No, you hit sweep. Was it 2P? No, the 2P was already. Yeah, so you hit 2D. Yeah, just not the right button to hit and not the right time to hit it. So that's number one. So it's funny. I don't know if you were here a little while ago, Ephelle, during the last review, but just to curtail off of what we were talking about before about being encouraged in a way to spend meter. It's another perfect example. So Soul does Gunflame FRC, and they dash up. I'm fallising. I don't know about you guys, but I'm fallising. He just spent meter. I'm good spending a little bit of meter. This shit is scary. You do not want to give him like dash momentum 2Ps. This shit is scary. So, again, I'm just trying to go into a little bit of detail about my thought process with Soul Pressure, just because you mentioned you're really struggling with it. But, look how scary this was. Barbar didn't really even do anything especially canned or especially, set here. But this was still incredibly scary. Just the 2P, 5P, and then just stand in your face. Like, that was kind of scary. It worked out for you, but I love that you hit 2S here. I think that there's nothing wrong with the fact that you got hit here. I would have also hit 2S here and gotten hit. I think this was great. You backdashed and then saw that he was approaching and tried to stuff the approach with 2S. It just didn't work out. But I actually love this. I don't care that you got hit here. I think this is great. This is the kind of spot that you want to instinctually be hitting 2S. So I think this was great. So another thing, again, I'm just going to try to give you rapid fire as much as I can with every little string here. This is something I talked to MCNA about against Soul with Gunflame, and in that context, it was about flick. Same exact idea for Jam. When you see these Gunflames in pressure, this one is a little close, so this one is not as obvious, so I'm not going to fault you on this one, but in general, these should be opportunities to parry. Because once you see the Gunflame, you kind of know what the timing is going to be, when it's going to hit you. So it should almost be like a free parry in a way. Again, this one was pretty close, so you would have had to react pretty quick. But the point that I made to MCNA, and it's even more true for you here with Jam with the parry, is that Gunflame is a little bit slower than you might realize. And maybe I'm over exerting my opinion here of maybe your thoughts on the move, but I think a lot of people don't realize that it's slower than it actually is. They see the Gunflame coming and they freeze up a little bit because they feel like they already missed their opportunity. You would be surprised at how much time you have before it actually hits you. So it's just one of those things that you want to train up the instinct. And to be very clear, you don't always want to parry and then like counterattack, but be aware that you can basically just always parry, and even if you choose to do nothing, it's still a good thing just to parry and do nothing, because when you parry, you're not going to get the pushback. So just the act of parrying it and doing nothing can already almost mess up the Soul's pressure, because you're not going to be exactly where they expect you to be. So like here, he jumped after, right? Yeah. So like, look at this. Because of the Gunflame, look at how far you got pushed back. Look at this pushback. This is what allowed this distance to be correct and the jump to be good. So if we rewind this a little bit. So here, I'm going to take control. It might take me a couple tries to do this, but if I parry this, doing it, I'm also doing it, like you see how I'm walking into it? I'm also doing it too soon. It's so much slower than it seems. But I want to show you that when you parry it, he's going to jump over you. Am I even doing it right? It's 4-6, right? You have to be at neutral, and then 4-6. Yeah, 5-4-6. It's just so slow. Hello? I mean, this is definitely something that takes practice. Why am I not getting this? There we go. See how it just jumps over you? Because you messed up the spacing. You don't get the pushback. You don't get pushed back. I cannot do this. You know, for me, this is difficult. For a Jam player, you train this and it becomes easy. You know, it becomes instinctual. So yeah, you get the idea. So, you know, sometimes you will want to parry and then far slash, or parry and then 2-slash, or parry and then react to what they do. In this case, you could have air grabbed or whatever, but the emphasis I want to make is sometimes just parrying and doing nothing is enough, just to mess up their pressure. So, yeah. Pressing any direction except neutral or 6 cancels the parry. Yeah, I think I'm just mistiming it, though. It's just like a weird timing. Same issue trying to Axel DP Gunflame. That thing is so slow. Yeah, exactly. And that's why when I told MCNA, it's like, you know, you see him do the string, you see like, you know, far slash 2-slash or far slash 5H Gunflame, and he's so far away, and you feel like by the time you recognize like, oh, it's a Gunflame, you're like, well, it's already moving toward me, it's too late. Not true. that's the point, is it is definitely not true. So yeah. So you tried to hit a button there. I mean, 6P obviously would have been preferred there, but so here you need it to faultless, obviously. So this is a common situation. The combo off of this is very difficult in this game. It is possible, but it is difficult. So a lot of souls will just avoid the conversion attempt and they'll just go for a reset. So you want to be careful. Sometimes you don't even want to tech this, just because if they're going for the air grab on your tech, it can be hard to avoid or tech it yourself. You know, tech the air grab. So sometimes you don't even want to tech this, but when you do, you certainly want to fall this, because they're either going to air grab or they're going to do exactly this, and, you know, you're going to get blown up. But that's a very common situation. Alright, so there was the parry you were talking about. So this is another good example of what we were just talking about a few minutes ago with AlexTwoD. So very important that you pay attention to what your opponent is telling you. So look at what just happened here in the last few seconds. You did some puffballs, and then you did a puffball, and they reacted with 2K. This should be like sirens and alarms going off in your head, right? Look at what he did. He just stood there and did 2K. Well, he whiffed the 5K, but he was being very passive is the point, right? And then look at this. 2K. Look at this passiveness. 2K. Just sitting here, guessing when you're going to do a puffball. And then it doesn't come, dash up 2K again. So again, what is the opponent telling you? They're telling you, I am stopping puffball. No puffballs allowed. This is a no puffball zone, right? That's the only thing that beats. Why else would they be doing 2K, right? So I think I stopped it. I don't think we saw what's going to happen next. But the last thing you should do now is puffball. That's number one. You should never, once you see this, you just never puffball into it. But number two, more importantly than that, is you should be saying he's trying to stop puffball. The way he's trying to stop puffball is by being passive and reactive. So how do I take advantage of that? What is the next level? This is exactly what we were just talking about before. Right? Now it's time to flip the switch and go to the next level to counter their counter, right? So what would I do in this situation? I would either... I was going to say ID. That's really not the first thing. I was going to say that as a simpler thing, but actually I don't even know. If they're being really passive, you actually don't want to ID because they're just going to be ready for you to hang yourself and anti-air you. But if they're just sitting there, like this here, right here, look at this, just sitting, just dash up. Dash up. You can try to preemptively 2S because sometimes the dash up will scare them and they'll hit a button. You'll counter hit them. Or dash up, /ID, then into puffball, you know, cancel, /sweep, you know, whatever you want to do. But the point is, if they're being passive, you should take advantage of that, especially as a character like Jam. ID Gankerin, yeah, that's fine too. That's fine too. But again, this is just a higher level strategy thing. You know, it's just something you need to be aware of. Nice. So what was this? Were you scared of DP? Is that why you IED back here? I wanna know. Scared of DP? Okay, so I don't like this at all. You want to know the problem with this? Is that you would have still got hit with DP. The problem with this, a lot of people do this. I'm guilty of it also. Every now and then I do this, and as I'm doing it, I'm like, that was the worst. It's actually like the worst thing you could do, because you gave up your pressure to try to bait a specific option, but what you did to bait it doesn't even beat the option. So let's go back, and I'm gonna DP on wake up, and we're gonna see if you actually avoid it or not. Okay, so it's off this knockdown. Okay. Let's see how many tries it takes me to reversal also. Oh, maybe it does bait it. Okay. The timing looked very suspect to me, but you were just fast enough. So, So you get a pass on this one. But in general, I see this all the time where people stand next to people on Wake Up and they ID back, and or they'll do a running jump and then ID back, and a lot of those timings you will not avoid DP. This one you were fast enough, so forget what I said. I was wrong. This was fine, but be very careful about this. Make sure that you are doing it well in advance so that it actually baits. I mean, the Ryujin here, I don't know if you reacted to the fact that he didn't DP, but yeah, obviously it's not hitting the DP when I do it. But yeah, I would just be very careful of that. I think better than IDing back is, because you're right, like, you don't necessarily want to block it where they can RC, specifically because you're so low on life, right? If you had more life, then letting them spin the meter on the RC is kind of fine. It's not that bad. But in this spot, they don't need the meter, and you don't want to put yourself in that kind of mix-up. So it makes sense to make it whiff. But can Jam, is Jam one of the characters that can backdash it? Probably not, right? Let's see. Oh, he's not going to DP, right? We can't test that. Maybe we'll look at that training mode. I don't know. I feel like there's generally better options than that, because the problem is if they don't DP, you just lose your pressure, you know? I mean, sometimes you have to do it, and this is the kind of spot where sometimes you got to make the big read, because you're so far behind. But yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I almost feel like I would rather let them DPRC if that's what they're gonna do, and take my chances winning the round after that. Because if you block it and you get them to spend the meter, then you're in a better position where if you get out of the situation, yes, you're putting yourself in a bad situation, but if you get out of it, then you're suddenly in a good position because they don't have any meter to contest you after that. So if you can get momentum again, you're in a much better spot to potentially win the round. But that's a playstyle thing, I think. I don't play around DPs very well. I mean, Soul's DP is kind of hard to play around. The other option is to safe jump. Let me go back, actually, a little bit more. Because Jam's sweep is jump cancelable, right? So, can you actually just set up a safe jump? I went way too far. It was after this, right? Yeah. So, can you just set up a safe jump? Yeah, see, I would just do something like this. If you're scared of DP, although again, this runs into, if you're scared of specifically DPRC, the safe jump's not going to help you. But again, you know, it's like, what is going to give you the best chance at winning, you know? And maybe letting them spend the meter gives you the best chance. I'm not saying that's true. I don't know. I'm just saying it's something to think about. Because see, that was always the problem that I had in games like this. Like it was also in like Street Fighter 4 a million years ago, where it's like, if you're so scared of DPRC, it's not like you're gonna kill him in one hit here. So by preventing him from, but by not even giving him the opportunity to spend the meter, like let's say he DP'd here, right, and you made it whiff, and then you full punish, you get a huge punish, he doesn't burst, whatever, you're still not killing him, and now you're in the same spot again, where now you have to be scared of DPRC again. And if you were scared of it the first time, I assume you're going to be scared of it, if not more scared, the second time, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not going to say that it's better, because I really don't think that it is, but I think it's worth thinking about where, you know, what is giving you the best chance at winning the round. And sometimes I think the best chance is going to be to bait the DP in a way that lets him spend the meter and be ready, you know, be very ready for the situation, so you have the best chance at escaping it, because it is a strong situation for him. But that way, if you get the momentum again, you're in a position where you might, you know, you'll have a better chance at just riding the momentum and not having to worry about, you know, DPRC again down the road. You know what I mean? So, but again, it matters, you know, let's say he was one combo away from dying, then it makes a lot more sense to not let him DPRC, because if he DPs and it whiffs, you're just going to kill him off the combo, right? So there's like a lot of aspects to this, but it's just an interesting thing to think about, I think. Got away with one, but then you got smacked. Oof, that's unfortunate. There's the OTG again. Why? Okay. Ooh. So maybe too much respect here. Maybe you were hesitating again for DP, which is a little understandable. Of course. Okay. Classic. What'd you do? Oh, you're doing puffball. That sucks. That is unfortunate. So yeah, I mean, we didn't really see too much more like pressure like we did at the beginning of the first round. But yeah, I would say, you know, faultlessing when he's up close and looking to parry Gunflame. I mean, the thing is, like, parry in general is just really good against Soul's pressure because all of his specials that he uses to repressure and end his strings are all single hits. So in theory, if you just let him do a block string and then you just look for the special, you can parry any of them. Bandit Bringer, Bandit Revolver, Gunflame, you can parry all of them. And Bandit Revolver and Bandit Bringer especially, you're going to murder him if you parry it, right? So I think parry is probably really important in that matchup for Soul's pressure specifically. We saw at the beginning of that second round there, Barbar did like 5H and then IAD, and that's the kind of stuff where if you're representing parry a lot, that's a option that's a little more hard to react to if you're specifically looking to parry the specials. But, you know, he's putting himself out there by doing that, where if he starts doing that too much, you just wait and just air throw it or 6P it. So, you know, there's good answers to that as well. All right, let's keep moving. Spent a lot of time on the Soul one. OTG, close slash, far slash. Have faith. That's an option, but I don't love that either. You know, they can. Some characters will be able to tech forward and punish you if you try to do a card. So that's kind of sketchy, I think. I think it's a little sketchy. Like, it's okay, because generally a lot of characters, if they can punish you, they won't be able to punish you that hard. But again, it's just like, why? It's very similar. No, I know H Puffball can stuff them if they try to go back in, but you can react to whether they did card or Puffball. I can tech and then like air dash or jump forward and see whether you're doing the command dash or a card, right? So it's very similar to the Soul discussion. It's just like, why? If you got the knockdown, I guess maybe you're talking about like raw sweep. Is that the conversation? Because raw sweep you can't necessarily confirm into a card fast enough. So maybe off of like raw sweep there's some merit to that, but I don't know. The thing is, I feel like if I played Jam, I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I'd have to see if you can actually react. I'd have to see if you can react to if you can react to sweep hitting solo, if you can react with a card fast enough. YoGG hits send them full screen. All right, let's just look at it right now since we're in between matches anyway, because I'm curious now. Let's see, we'll record it and see. I'm just gonna pick Venom because I know Venom the most. Oh, what the fuck color was that though? Jam. That's May. Jam. Okay. So we'll do. So it's this, right? Into card. keep getting 6k. Stop with the 6k. Okay, and then I blocked. I feel like I made. Let me re-record it. I feel like maybe I canceled it too soon or too late. Okay, that one was good. That looked good, and I'm blocking high afterwards. Okay, so let's see. Let's attack. Why is the... Yeah, see that's the main issue, is that you tech so high. Yeah. But can't I just tech forward and just hit a button? Railgun, I am doing more reviews tonight, but yours will be in the next batch. You're in the next batch. You were close to making it into this batch. I keep missing the tech. Oh, right, because when you tech forward, you have them backwards momentum. I want to see how quickly I can air dash after the tech. Yeah, see, every character should be able to punish this. I'm not saying it's easy, but I feel like if you have jam experience, this is something you'd be ready for. You just have to tech and immediately dash. Missing the tech. I don't think so, Have Faith. I don't think so. So, Puffball, how do you do it again? What's the command dash? Oh, there we go. Okay, so... So I need to do... Okay, like that, or should I delay the puffball? Like that? Okay. So I'm gonna put it on random. How do you do this again? I'll play playback slot random. And then okay, so now I've got the 2 recordings, right? So I'm gonna play them back at random and we'll see. We'll see if I can react. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tech an air dash, and when I see the puffball, I'm just going to not hit a button. And when I see the card, I'm going to hit a button. And we'll see. Yo, Hotashi, what's up? The hardest part is getting the tech. Whoops. I'm just trying to get the... Yeah, see, the thing is, like... Yeah, I can definitely react. Because the thing is, when it's the card, you don't even have to hit a button in the air. Actually, I can just do the same thing every time. So I can just air dash and then just grab when I land. Or hit a button when I land. I don't have to do a button during the air dash. You know what I mean? The hardest part is just getting the tech in the air dash. But if I practiced it, I hit a button. Oh, that might have actually punished my air dash. Yeah, see, like... Oh, well, she's blocking high, but that was definitely a punish, though. Oh. Oh, wait, wait, wait. I need to faultless. I need to faultless. That's why I'm getting hit. I wonder if I can... I've never tried to do this before. Can I do forward tech and then forward to get an immediate air dash after the tech? I've never tried that before. Let me try that. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No. Okay. So you just gotta do it fast. Yeah, I mean, look, the fact that the fact that I'm struggling this much to do it obviously says something. Like who you know, who's gonna do this? But you know, when I'm giving advice, it's like I want my advice, and if I was a jam player, it's like I want whatever I'm doing to be able to take me all the way to the highest level. So, you know, if you want to run this at lower levels, or, you know, run it until the opponent stops it, there's no problem with that, obviously. It's hard enough to do that you could probably run this forever and, you know, not get punished. But it's really important to know, you know, what's possible. Because eventually you may run into somebody who can punish this every time, and you're going to be fucked, right? What the odds of that are, pretty low given how hard this is, but... just as a general, you know, mindset, you know. This shit is hard, though. Whoops. Actually, I think I was making it harder on myself. Yeah. So I just want to air dash, then faultless. I just want to do it one time against the puffball to see if it's actually, because I think it's very close to actually just straight up punishing my air dash. So I just want to get the air dash one time against the puffball with a faultless to see. I need to make sure that I don't do it too soon, though, so I don't get jump P as well. When Jam starts mixing in far slash 236P air throw. Yeah, I mean, the other thing that makes this, like, better than it normally would be is that you can do different strings, right? You don't have to do 5K close slash far slash. You could do just 5K close slash card, or, you know, and then because the thing is that the timing here is so tight, I have to tech and immediately air dash. And you can't do that multiple times. You physically can't attempt to do that multiple times. You have to know when you're going to get the tech to even try to time it. So the fact that you can also mix up the timing of how many OTG hits you're doing makes this a lot better also. So it's growing on me a little bit, just because of how much trouble I'm having doing it. Let's do this. Let me we're just gonna set it to always do the puffball that way. I hit it too soon. This shit is hard. Can you just mash forward tech and then FD? No. I'm not just forward teching, I'm forward teching and then immediately air dashing. Which is why it's hard. I hit it a little too soon. I think it's punishing my air dash. think it actually is punching my air dash. Thought I had that one. Anyway, you get the idea. Though it looks like if you don't tech, then I just whiffed Puffball in your face. Yeah, but I think Puffball recovers pretty quick on whiff, and you could probably react and delay the Puffball, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable. Like I said, realistically, probably no one's ever gonna do that ever that you would play, but you know. Because there are other characters that do similar things like that, where it is very realistic that people would punish something like that. But that one specifically seems pretty hard, actually. I almost went to network. All right, let's get back into the replays. I'm not doing a very good job of getting through all these. Almost 2 already. All right, we gotta move a little quicker. Got a little sidetracked. Okay, Kai. Alright, so we're going to look at Kai Pressure. Kai Pressure in general is going to be kind of similar, where you want to Faultless when he's close to kind of mitigate the power of the throw versus strike mix-up. Can Jam... Oh! I just remembered something that you may not know. Maybe some of the Jam players in chat know this. So this is really good against Kai. I don't know if you can do it with this knockdown, though. Let's see. No, it's not going to work off this knockdown. Yeah, it's not going to work off this knockdown. Meaty 2K. That I was going to try. That was the first thing I thought. But, if you do Meaty 5H, it gets so low profile at the end that it'll avoid this as well. Yeah, like that, right? You just gotta space it. Let me just see something. I want to rewind it a little bit more. So, this is obviously better for the card. But let's say there's a different situation, like let's say you get a raw sweep and then you don't card or anything. You can just do this, I believe. Wait, did he not get reversal? Oh, it's not reversal. I'm not gonna be able to show it on this. But like this end frame, well, I can't show you, but the end frame where she's like on the floor is like extremely low profile. Actually, I'm gonna jump out of this real quick again, because I'm pretty sure that's true. 99% sure that's true. I just want to double check. No, that's not Jam. That's not Jam at all. Yeah, have faith. I said if you do 2D card, you can't. But I was saying like off of a raw 2D or some other random knockdown. So let's say this, flip an instant, enemy, reversal action, memory. Oh, let's not do that. Did I just erase it? Yeah. Oops. Okay. So. Okay. And I think it's on all block. Let's do limited. Okay, so now why did he not DP on wake up? What? What? Are the other things still set? No, I'm on playback 1. What is happening? Oh, do I not have... Oh, no, I have it set as reversal, don't I? Oh, wake up all. There we go. Okay. Is that reversal? Yeah, it was. Okay. Fuck. Okay. Let's see. Okay, reversal. Okay. Yeah. See that? That shit's sick. You guys know about that? That's some 15-year-old tech. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good, actually. It looks fucking cool too, right? So yeah. We get a huge fucking combo off this. So yeah. This is my favorite kind of tech where it's both really good and really fucking cool. Just gotta learn timing. That's just because Kai's DP sucks ass. You can low profile it, that's all. You need a move that low profiles. Yeah, it's definitely says more about Kai's DP than Jam's 5H, for sure. For sure. I just wanted to make sure that like literally came out of the back of my head from like 15 years ago, like poked up. It was like, hey, Jam can 5H meaty. And I was like, oh shit. Is that true? I think it is true. Alright, replays. Yeah, with Venom, you can do meaty 2D and it low profiles it also. Yeah, like Soul 2D. Like any of those like traditional moves that low profile, you can just low profile it. You want to watch it, you don't get thrown, so you don't want to make it obvious that you're going to be point blank, or you don't want to be point blank. You want to be a little bit out of range. But yeah. Is that DP one of the reasons Kai's considered lower? No. His DP is like that in every single game. You can low profile his DP in every game. Actually, is that true? Did I just lie? Can you low profile in an Exerd? I haven't played Exerd in so long now, I'm forgetting. I think you can, right? It's the same. It's like exactly the same, right? Venom can do 2D or Soul can do 2D. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same. Okay. So one thing just to be aware of, when a Kai meaties you with 3K, I mean here the meaty was too early and it whiffed, but just in general, if you are parrying on Wake Up and the Kai does 3H, just be very careful, because if it's meaty enough, he's going to recover like instantly anyway. So you're really not getting much out of it. How much recovery does parry have? I forget. Is it listed in the frame data? Look at my phone. Three frames? 0 frames? I wanted to say it was 0, but it didn't seem right. I thought that it did have recovery. But that is different in Exerd. Obviously, it's like completely different. And I think maybe that was poisoning my brain. Where is parry? Here, parry. Will parry any attack of blocked high within 8 frames. Pressing any direction other than forward or neutral during this time will immediately cancel the parry attempt. After inputting a parry, you cannot attempt another parry for 15 frames. Any moves input during the hit stop of a successful parry will start up once hit stop ends. Let me read that again. Any moves input during the hit stop of a successful parry will start up once the hit stop ends. So the way I interpret that, and I could be wrong, but I think it has 0 recovery in the sense that you can always block the next attack. So like if you are parrying a multi-hit move, you can always parry and then block, because I think the recovery is just the recovery of the hit stop that you were going to be subjected to. Parry 6p charge stun edge. Let me think about that for a second. Right, I see what you're saying. So that means that... Yeah, but that's different, though. That doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't necessarily mean that there was that you were able to 6P the next frame after the parry. What it just means is that you were able to 6P the first frame after the hit stop of the first hit of the charge stun edge ended. Because the second hit of this charge stun edge doesn't become active until after that. I think I'm explaining that correctly, and I think that's correct. The bottom line is I believe, I mean, we could just jump out one more time, and we could test this. Because I want to say that if you parry 3H, you're not necessarily going to be able to do anything. I think he might be able to act at the same time as you. Because 3H has like 3 frames recovery or something. But I might be, this one I might be way off on. I need to get it like perfectly meaty so that it's only one hit. Oh, that was so close. There we go. Oh, I should have hit a button after though. Fuck. Okay, that was really good. That was a good recording. Okay, okay, let's see. Oh shit. All right, yeah, I was way off. Yeah. Because so yeah, I'm not sure the technical aspect of that, especially based on that description from the frame data. Never successfully parried both hits at 3H, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah. Pretty sure it's the best parry in fighting games. Yeah. I mean, based on this, yeah. I've never really looked at it this in depth before, but yeah. I mean, that's insane. So yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't understand that description then, because I was definitely not subjected to the hit stop. I don't think it didn't seem like it, but it seemed like Kai still was, because his 2P didn't even come out. No whiff animation, can freely buffer. Yeah, I mean, as long as you do it cleanly, right? Because you can't get any additional inputs or it stops trying to parry, right? All right, for real, we gotta keep moving. Nice, that was sick. Yeah, let's see how you use the momentum here. Yeah. I wonder if on this, on the force break card, I wonder if you can get a 5H. It looks like you might be able to. Oh yeah. Yeah. So here you can do the meaty 5H on Kai also if you want. I'm doing it so soon here that it's not even meeting him, but yeah, there you go. So. Nice, good shit, have faith. Yeah, I should have put exclamation glossary in the title. I forgot about that. I meant to do that on the last stream too. 6HH wall splat is a lot more lenient than 2D. Yeah. Look at you. Fancy pants over here. Sick. Is that theoretically throwable? If you do it all the way in throw range, Destiny Spider, yeah, but you could do that meaty 5H and stay outside of throw range as well. Oh no. Oh, good attempt. Good awareness to see the counter hit and go for the conversion. Ooh, what were you doing? What were you doing? Oh, you tried to parry. Okay, that's actually reasonable. I thought maybe you were trying to jump. Ooh, big hit. Hit him with something. Oh no! Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Ugh. Kai's 2D is such a nightmare in this matchup. What'd you try to do here? Jump, it looks like. And here? $6p, okay. Yeah, I think you just need to you need a little more patience. You know, some of this stuff, it's very similar to Soul. When they're really point blank, you gotta really do something big to disrespect them. Parry into 5p attempts. Let's see. Oh yeah, because you hit 4. Yeah, but you were still holding forward, so you would have gotten 6p, right? But yeah, like the parries, this is too hard because after 3H, he's very likely to do 2K as well. So going for parry here, I don't know about that. I think you need to respect a little bit more. I think you're just missing Faultless. I think you need to mix in Faultless. When these kind of characters, you know, Soul and Kai are this close to you, Faultless is really important because they're not high-low characters, they're strike-throw characters, and you really neuter them by, you know, using Faultless on the quick normals and pushing them out, and it just, you know, the throw just goes away. If you do it too much, they'll just run up and throw you before even doing anything, you know, so you're sitting there waiting to Faultless something, they'll just throw you. But once they start doing that, then you have more freedom to jump and hit buttons and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, trying to disrespect at those kind of ranges with traditional things is just too hard. It just the number of things that it's gonna lose to is just too high. Like, and the thing is, it's not like they have to go out of their way. You have to be like so right to disrespect in those spots. Like after blocking 3H, you have to be like incredibly right because all the normal things that he's gonna try to do are likely to beat you in those spots. You know. 2K, 5K, 2P. I mean, you're trying to parry, so some of the mids you're going to be able to beat, but even then you tried and you lost because you didn't time it right or whatever. So it's just, I don't know. It's a spot where the risk versus reward is just not great for you. Okay, great punish. A little taste of his own medicine. Okay, nice. Nice. Huge hit. Can't kill, though. That's unfortunate. Kai hitboxes, yeah. Yeah, see, and the parry on the 3H, it's like... When he's gonna get 2 hits, pretty tough. Ooh, no punish here. Just dash up sweep. Just dash up sweep. I mean, you could try to IB the second hit, but you shouldn't even need to IB the second hit, I don't think. Yeah. This is really important that you punish this. He had metered FRC, but didn't. I don't know if he missed it. We can look at the inputs again. But, yeah. Do not let him get away with that. Can just raw card Ryujin. Yeah, that too. Damn, again. Okay. Unfortunate. So, I mean, honestly, it seems like most of the problem in this matchup is just your Oki is suffering because you're just petrified by the DP, right? I mean, that's the impression I'm getting. Like, your Oki has been non-existent because you're either hesitating or you're doing something kind of like half-assed because you don't want to commit to something that's just going to eat shit if they DP. So, you need to, you just got to come to terms with it. Sometimes they're going to DP. If they're DPing too much, you know, you can bait it, but this, like, half a foot in the water, half a foot out of the water, that you're getting, like, the worst of both worlds, basically. Because when he doesn't DP, you're not really doing Oki, and when he does DP, you're still, like, getting hit, or, you know, it's just, like, not great. So, I mean, looking at these, you know, the safe meaties, either the spaced 2K or the 5H, you know, stuff like that, I think that'll help a lot if you learn that specifically for the Kai matchup. But this, to me, just seems like it's a more, you know, the core problem is just that DPs in both matchups are just terrifying you to the point of inaction. So, you know, you need to just come to terms with it. And that's also why, going all the way back to the Soul matchup, that's also why I'm more of a believer of let them DP and RC and get it out of their system, because otherwise, if you're already scared of it, you're just going to be scared of it every knockdown. It's not going to go away. So, you know, I'm a big proponent of just safe jumping when possible. Let them DPRC. Yeah, they get the momentum, but they spent 50% and did no damage. So, you know, yeah, they get a good mix-up, but it's like whatever. So, but yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get. This is probably going to be a longer match, so we'll try to get through this one as well. Obviously, this one's going to be completely different. Okay, I don't mind that round start. You know, what's Bridget going to do if he blocks that? It's not going to be a huge punish. It's going to be like close / kickstart. It's like whatever. Ooh. That's unfortunate. You went for a throw, but Bridget got counter hit. Okay. That was lucky. That was luckier. Alright, everything's coming up Millhouse right now. Nice pickup. They tried to go for the kill. Yeah, the drop. Okay. Is so much meter. Just Ryujin RC. Oh. Oh, I thought you did that to RC, but yo, what's up, Folligos? How you doing? So it's funny because in your notes you mentioned that you were having a problem catching Bridget, but this Bridget is not especially running away. You guys are actually kind of brawling here. This was in a long set. I was trying to be cute. I see. That explains the round start, you know, round one round start Ryujin. It makes a lot more sense if this is in the middle of a set. Okay. Nice. Huge hit. Oh, you tried to back out of the corner? Oh, that was so awkward, because it was very unclear which side you were actually on. Jesus. That was super awkward. So, I was seeing this, you were doing this against Barbar also, like the run-up 6P. I don't think that this is like that good. I would much rather do like 2S or sweep or something, or far slash or something. I think this is probably like the 4th button that would be on my list of things to hit. But there's a caveat where in some matchups this becomes better to beat very specific pokes, you know, like Venom far slash or, you know, something like that. So, you know, if you have something in mind specifically that you're trying to beat, that's one thing. but in this matchup, I can't imagine it's that good. I mean, it probably beats like 5S and 6S, but those buttons are not like that great against you to begin with, I don't think. I mean, 5S is probably Bridget's best button to control the ground in this matchup, but I don't think you need to go out of your way to try to like call it out. And the other thing is, if that is your goal to call out buttons like that, you're doing it from the wrong range anyway. You would want to do it more from like this range, so you get a little bit of a slide, because those kind of buttons like 5S and 6S, Bridget's going to have an extended hurt box from throwing the yo-yo. So this just like doesn't feel right to me to run all this way and then hit 6P. Might not have sent the right replay to showcase my trouble catching him. Yeah, because this one's a brawl for sure. But yeah, this 6P thing, you might want to, put this under the microscope a little bit and think about the distances and the reasons that you're using this. Because to me, I've always looked at this as it's a very targeted option, right? Whenever you're doing 6P in neutral like this, you're trying to beat a very specific thing. And just the distance that you used it here, it doesn't seem like that was the case. That 6P was great. Obviously, you did it as an anti-air. I say obviously, it's what it seemed like. Maybe you were just doing it anyway, but it looked great. So you get the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to assume that you did it on reaction as anti-air. I'm assuming that 5D was supposed to be sweep. Oh no, it was supposed to be a force break. I see. Did you not have the meter as you did it? Is that what happened? No, you did. That's weird. I mean, it's funny because I thought this matchup we were going to see like completely different. Yeah, Region, yeah. I thought we were going to see something like completely different, but it's ironic because it looks exactly the same, where you're just terrified of the DP. But yeah, obviously that matchup you were not really chasing very much, but have no idea what to use 236 for. It's just think of it as a command jump for now. I mean, there are specific things you can use it for like mix-ups and stuff like that, but you don't even have to get into that. It's just like a different trajectory jump, basically. You can just think of it that way. Once you get into like the FRC and stuff like that, there's like more to it. But just raw, you can just think of it as like a command jump. So just anytime, you need a different trajectory or you want to mix up your approach, it's just another way to approach, basically. But yeah, good stuff. I think the number one thing is just you need more confidence. You can't just you're losing to the DP and they're not even DPing that much because you're sacrificing so much to play around the DP that that even when they don't DP, you're just losing those interactions. So I think you just need, and obviously you didn't know about some of the safe meaties against Kai, so that one kind of solves itself because you don't even have to play the mini game of are they going to DP or not. You just do the if you are worried about it at all, you just do the safe meaty and make it whiff. But against like Soul and Bridget and those kind of characters, commit to something or don't. None of this half in the pool, half out of the pool, hesitation. You got to just, they're going to DP sometimes and you're going to get hit sometimes. It is what it is. And like I said, I'm not going to go as far as to say that it is better to let them DP and RC. I don't think it's that simple, but I think it's something that you should think about. In certain situations, it may be preferable to let them DP and waste the meter on RCing. And I say waste loosely because obviously they get momentum in a mix-up and that kind of thing. But you know, waste in the sense that they're not getting any direct damage from the meter usage. They're getting like implied damage or, you know, percent damage from the possibility of hitting you afterwards when you block it. But yeah, and again, especially, you know, if you're so worried about DPRC, again, if you bait it by making it whiff, it never goes away. So if you're especially getting hung up on the concern of DPRC, then especially I would encourage you to experiment more with just blocking it and letting them RC, so that the next knockdown you get, they probably won't have meter for RC again, and you'll probably be a little more comfortable meeting them and not worrying about the raw DP without the safety net of the RC. So, but yeah. But yeah, otherwise good stuff. Otherwise good stuff. I like that you've started to work in 2S. You already know how I feel about that button. I love that button. So, okay. So let's keep it moving. There's two more I want to do. I wanted to be done by 2 o'clock, and I have like an hour more. So we're gonna try to go through these and not get super hung up. And I know I just say that all the time and never actually do it, but we really need to try. Okay. I'm just making sure that I'm not missing something here. Also, I need to stand up and stretch and get more water. So we're going to do that before we forget as well. Okay, I think this is good. So who is left? It should be Rupture and Lurkin. And Rupture is next. And Rupture resubmitted. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So, I'm going to put this up. I'm going to be back in a minute. I'm just going to stretch my legs. I've been sitting for 3 hours, which is way too long. And I'm going to get some water. I encourage you to do the same. And I'll be right back. I'm kind of here. I'm standing, just stretching my legs. Yeah, yo. If I didn't want to spend too much more time, or I would have tried to give you a little more advice from your perspective as well in that match. But I agree with what Rupture is saying. I think any kind of matchup like that, you want to be letting them come to you. You want to be running away more. Jam is a little bit unique. Most characters like Jam want to be on the ground more, whereas Jam does not mind fighting you air to air because she has good air to air buttons, especially in that matchup Jump S. A lot of characters don't have a button that goes that high, so she can actually kind of get up there and still scrap with you. But the important thing is that if Jam doesn't have a card, when you air to air, when she air to airs you, she can't get a knockdown. So fighting her in the air is kind of preferable. Now the downside is if you run away too hard, you'll just let her collect free cards, right? So you need to balance how much you run away. You don't want to be too overly passive and just let her get cards for free, because then suddenly she's going to fight you in the air, and if she hits you, she's going to get a knockdown, which is super bad. But, you want to be kind of playing this cat and mouse game where you don't necessarily let her card for free, but you make her come to you. And anytime she doesn't have a card, you want to try to fight her in the air because she's way weaker. Yo, no, it's going good. It's going good other than the fact that I just cannot force myself to do the replays quicker. So I'm like an hour behind where I want it to be. I want it to be kind of winding down the stream at this point, and I have 2 more replays that I want to get through. I mean, I could just stop, but the thing is I really want to get caught up so I can reopen the submissions. So we're just going to power through. All right, so I am back. I am sitting. All right, so next up is Rupture. Let me set a marker. I also had a cookie. It was delicious. Okay, so next up is Rupture. And Rupture is no stranger to the replay analysis. So Rupture was one of the early reviews, and we talked a lot about kind of like what your go-to should be. He felt like he was kind of stuck, you know, kind of stuck doing the same things, and we talked about Gunblaze versus, you know, Rocket, and, you know, ID versus just jumping and stuff like that. So we're going to keep an eye on that during these. And let's see what the new notes are here. Okay, so we have an assortment here. We've got Abba, Johnny, and Venom. So versus Johnny, Rupture wants to know what to punish. Versus Abba, how to value knockdowns versus just killing her, which is a great question. And versus Venom, ways to catch back jumps or avoidance in neutral and similar states. Okay, let's take a look. All right, Ephelle, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. So coin in this matchup is going to be pretty annoying for exactly that reason. It's just so good at controlling the ground. Okay. I was going to say Gunblaze is pretty reasonable here because of how aggressively the Johnny's using coins. He's out of coins now. Once he's out of coins, the matchup should be significantly easier. That was lucky. Okay. So now that he's out of coins, I would be less interested in trying to Gunblaze, but it worked here, kind of. He could have jumped out of that throw, but okay, good. So one thing very early on that we want to be cognizant of, this is a very important thing. You did 2P, 2P, 2H, no delay, just immediate, and he was just all over 2H, right? Just all over, 1H. Is it 1H and 2H, or is it 2H and 3H? I forget which is which. It's 2H and 3H, right? So this is 2H. So this is like, you know, I always talk about, you know, sirens and alarms going off in your head. This should be, the alarm should be going off. We got a masher on the line here. So the next time you get him blocking, you should be, and again, I talked about this earlier, once you're comfortable and you know your character well, you'll immediately know he's mashing, this is my anti-mash string, or these are my anti-mash strings, right? You already know exactly what to do. So it may be something that you need to lab a little bit. You can set the dummy to reversal 2H or something like that, and actually, you know, test what are good strings, because the idea is you want a gap so that he can hang himself, but you need the gap to be the right size so that he gets hit and not you, right? Because this is like, what's 2H? It's like 5 frames or something like that. It's pretty fast. So, you know, you have to have something already kind of prepared for this. But in general, just anything with a small gap If they're really just mashing, like actually mashing, and not reacting to the gap, then even a 1-frame gap is gonna be fine. So so yeah, I don't even know what to recommend. Probably something like 2P 2P far slash. I think someone in chat, Have Faith, is saying 6H. But 6H off of 2P might be too slow. You would just need to experiment with it and just see, is the bottom line. But the important thing is that you see this and you register, like, this guy is mashing. I need to do an anti-mash string next time. And you kind of file that away until you get pressure again, like here. Yeah, I mean, just Rocket also. I would imagine most things into Rocket will naturally frame trap. Yeah, see. And again, the Gunblaze, when he has coins, it's more reasonable. Once he's out of coins, and it's only reasonable if he's being aggressive with his coins, like he was. Was expecting him to jump into me. That's why I didn't Rocket. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if you do a block string into Rocket, they shouldn't be able to jump out of it, you know? Yeah, see, this Johnny, and, you know, there's different kind of play styles as far as the coins are concerned with Johnny. But this Johnny seems very aggressive with coins. So I would play a little bit slower against this type of Johnny and just let him, look at this, he's just wasting coins. It's only good if you're running into them. So if you just slow down and don't run into him, he's just going to run out. Yeah, I mean, he's just swinging. He's just swinging. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, this was just a slugfest. Let's actually just watch this round again, because you had specifically asked, like, what to punish. And the way this round kind of went, this is not really like a, you know, where were my opportunities round. This was like a, you guys were, you know, going at each other, and it was just who came out on top. You know what I mean? So let's look at maybe where, you know, where you could have chosen differently. So here you missed your dash a little bit, so you didn't really get good Oki there, but that's okay. So see, this was good. You were being patient, and then look, just look at the instant you hit him, right? Look at his inputs. Like, you were just hitting him, 2H, 2H, right? So, unfortunately, you know, it was kind of a good spot for 2H there. So another thing, this is this happens all the time with Johnny, but there's other characters also where they end their combo really high up, and it's not a knockdown. And in fact, not only is it not a knockdown, you can tech almost immediately, right? You have like full reign to choose when you want to tech all the way down. You should mix in, not always, but you should mix in sometimes neutral teching. Neutral teching, a lot of like Johnny players, or I was doing it earlier actually in the set against the Bridget I was playing before I started doing the reviews. Bridget is another perfect example where they just end their combo in the air and you can just tech immediately. A lot of those players are very used to, you know, the instinct is, well, I'm going to tech forward, I want to get out of the corner. So they're very comfortable with that situation and how to fight you when you tech forward. But if you neutral tech, it'll catch them off guard a lot. So I tend to, in these kind of matchups, I tend to use that as my layer 1, and I'll usually neutral tech first and see if they cover it or if it works and go from there. And generally, I'll just keep neutral teching until they stop it. And then, you know, go from there if they ever stop it. You know, sometimes I'll neutral tech and block. Sometimes then I'll late tech forward, you know, because they'll try to cover the neutral tech, so I'll let myself fall a little bit and then tech forward. Stuff like that. So, but it's just something to be aware of, because like here you let yourself fall and then you tech forward, and kind of a bad spot because the coin. It wound up being okay because the coin just missed, but you know, not the best spot. The first round nerves, I see. Brett told you Johnny players mostly rely on guessing and neutral. Yeah, I mean, Johnny's just game plan in general, the way he frame traps you, it's a lot of mixing up between doing normals into coin or doing normals into miscancel or doing normals into normals. And you just kind of cycle those three options to try to get them to flinch. And so inherently, you know, it's a little bit of a guessing game. So I would think also sweep is pretty good in this matchup. Seth mentioned Johnny's pretty weak to low profiles, which I think is a little bit true. Stuff like Var Slash and stuff like that. So you can maybe poke with sweep a little bit also in this matchup. Yeah, but see, look at this. I mean, this is really some obscene, like, mashing. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, he blocked a jump in and just H, right? So, again, going back to, we knew this from round one, right? The very first time you got pressure. I don't know if this was your first game against him or what, but we knew from round one. I said it right away, right? So you need to, and I'm gonna say this as if it's easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, but you need to bank that. You need to have the awareness. Say this guy's mashing. He's mashing 2H. Bank it, and then from that point forward, everything you do, you need to be either playing around the 2H mash, or ideally doing things that beat the 2H mash. So like here, you gotta jump in. Did you try to do something else? Oh, okay, so you try to do jump P, jump S, but the jump S was too low and it didn't come out. So, you know, doing like jump P would have been okay, or just doing jump H by itself. But the point here is that it's very important that once you recognize what your opponent is doing, that you actually do options that beat what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like the worst thing that you can do is to, you know, get hit by something and the opponent is just screaming at you, you know, I'm gonna do this every time, and you just are losing to it. You know, you just don't fix it. You know, that's kind of like the worst thing that you know can happen. That's what I was referring to on the notes. Yeah, I mean, as far as, see, when you say punish, I'm usually thinking like he did a string where you could have hit a button, or he did something that was unsafe on block. But if you want to use punish in that sense, yeah, like punishing his habits, absolutely. If you would have just fixated on the 2H, and again, it's probably not something that you could do on the fly. It's probably something that you need to prepare. But the good news is that you can generalize it out so that it's not Johnny specific, and it's not a you know, here's my strings to beat Johnny 2H. No, it's here's my strings to beat people mashing fast buttons. And then you have these things that you're prepared with, and then any matchup, if they're mashing 2P, if they're mashing here 2H, if Milia's mashing 4H, you know, Milia's mashed 4H a lot on defense for throw. Anything like that, you will be prepared. And again, it's important to have some stuff like that prepared. You know, I could name multiple things with Venom that I would do. I mean, I'm sure you've, you know, heard me talk about them on stream. I always talk about, you know, doing counter hit dubious curve and stuff like that. So yeah. So again, not something that I would expect you to be able to do on the fly, but it's something that you could go into training mode and mess around with. Again, just set the dummy to reversal. You could even use Johnny, but I would try a couple different characters. I would try Johnny 2H, Soul 2P. Who else has like a really good Abari button? Venom 2S, you know, stuff like that, and just, you know, mess with some strings, find some stuff you like. Obviously, you want a string where the counter hit is rewarding, right? So, like, you might be able to do something like, let's just do it real quick. I know I said I was going to try to be quicker, but I think this is worth showing to see kind of how to look at this, right? how to figure this out. Yeah, Robo 5H. Yeah. So let's do Order Soul, and let's do Johnny, and we're gonna set 2H counter hit is my go-to reward. Yeah, 2H is we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. So let's set him to do this. Okay, and so now this should do this. Okay, so you're exactly right. So the first thing I was gonna say is, because I'm gonna generalize this out for anybody, you know, that could use this advice. When you're trying to develop something like this, where you recognize, okay, I need something that's good at beating mashers, then the first step is what is the best thing that you could get, right? Try to identify what is the ideal hit, because it's going to be counter hit, right? So what are your good counter hit buttons? So with Soul, it's like 6H is a good counter hit. Fafnir, it's a really good counter hit. 2H is a very good counter hit. 2H is probably the best one, right? Just overall. Fafnir requires meter, and 6H, depending on the distance, you might not get anything guaranteed, and you know, whatever. So let's go with 2H. So now it's just experimenting with what frame traps into 2H. The important thing is just identifying what you want, and then you can back into how do you get it. So my first thought is close slash. I need to set him to block all. Okay, so not fast enough. In that case, there might not be anything. When I say anything, there might not be anything that Gatlings into 2H that will get him. 5HCC? I don't think so. You just, yeah. Nah, this is not gonna help, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, but you don't want to be safe. See, let's be clear. We're labbing right now to find something punishing. Being safe is for on the fly when you don't know what to do, right? You can, you know, yeah, exactly. You want to murder him. You want to make him stop doing 2H. So, yeah, the thing is, like, 5H into Rocket should be fine, but again, this is not going to necessarily deter him from doing 2H, because the reward is not going to be that high. We want something that is going to be high reward. Wow, is this even going to work? Because he moves backwards, I'm not even sure that this works. Rocket might not... Okay, you could trade. I think that was only because I was really close, though. Okay, you can. Blockhead is probably good. I don't even know how you do Blockhead. What's the input? Oh, it's P, right? Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, Blockhead is kind of fast, though, is the problem. But maybe this might be good. Yeah. So, right? See, but again, this is the same problem where this is great and all, but you're not getting anything off of it. It's not even guaranteed. I mean, you probably, if you did that, you'd probably, you know, they probably wouldn't shake out fast enough. Oh, that's guaranteed. I just didn't do it fast enough before. But yeah, I really want to figure out something for this. I mean, this is really what you want. 2S maybe? No. There's just too big of a gap. That's a shame. What about, off a jump in? This might work. No, never mind. No, this shit is just too slow. That only worked because of the distance. This This is tough. So, it might be Fafnir then. Fafnir might be the answer. Because Fafnir... See, the thing about Fafnir is because it's a special, you can use, like, a late cancel to frame trap. So something like... is it half circle or is it quarter circle? It's half circle, okay. So something like this. I guess this doesn't have a long cancel window. This, maybe? Wait, is 2D not... No. Wait, oh, you can't cancel moves into Fafnir? I thought you could. I'd never realized that. I thought you could. Alright, well then fuck me, I guess. How the fuck do you stop this move? We need something that hits hard. Although... maybe something like this then? No, I was thinking maybe the low invuln on Fafnir, but 2H hits too high. Yeah, 2H hits too high. 2S delay Gatling. I don't think I can delay it long enough. Yeah, you can't delay long enough. It's always going to be continuous. Oh, 2S. I think it's going to be the same, though. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you can delay. Yeah, you might need a bar. Yeah, maybe level 2 blockhead is the way to go. Maybe level 2 is the way to go. So maybe try not to fight him, you know, until you have level 2. Not that you don't try to fight him, but you know, you look for this when you have level 2 build. Because that's definitely working. Like, that's definitely good. So maybe level 2, maybe Rocket gets better for this? No. No. Immediately no. Yeah, shit's annoying. That shit is annoying. 2P5K, that might work. See, I mean, ideally you just want a Gatling. The best thing is if you have a Gatling that you just do the Gatling as fast as possible and it just automatically frame traps. That's like the dream. But unfortunately we're not living in that reality in this case. So, you know, something like this, yeah, this will work, but you're subjected to manually timing it, so it's not ideal, you know? So like it works, but you gotta learn the timing. But this absolutely works. You know, you just do something like that. And, you know, I'm saying, like, you're subjected to the timing. If you practice this, you know, as an Order Soul player, I'm not an Order Soul player, so the timing's weird to me, but obviously this will work. 2B5H. Oh, there we go, Xnar. This is a winner. This is a winner. This is what I was talking about. You just do this Gatling as fast as possible, and it automatically frame traps. Yeah, and this is a good counter hit, because you can stance cancel, right? And you get a combo. We did it, boys. We did it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Wow, that's weird. So the distance actually matters. If you do two Ps, it trades. So you either need a running momentum or you need to do one. But yeah, this is exactly like what I was describing. This is the kind of thing you want. Ideally, you'd be able to do it after 2. I mean, I'm doing it with running momentum here, and that was because of distance. But this is really good. Oh, maybe at distance 5P? No, it still trades. But yeah. So I would experiment more with this. There might be other, yeah, 5K also. Just no delay. Just Gatling 5K directly into 5H. Same thing. Yeah, so that you can do without running momentum. That would be good too. This might be better in general. Right? So, and then you gotta practice how to convert off the counter hit. But that shouldn't be too hard. I mean, at the very least, you just sweep, right? Whoops, I delayed it by mistake. But yeah. 5H counter hit Fafnir. Seems good. Yeah, pretty easy. Whoops. Look, Mom, I'm a Order Soul player. Anyway, let's get back. I said I was going to try to go quicker, and we're deep in training mode now. Okay, so that was the Johnny match. Let's look at the ABBA match. Yeah, I mean, that was a great detour for sure. Okay. So she got started. Ooh. Yeah, gotta watch the burst. So I'm not saying you should have done it, but just, I like to just express, you know, things that pop into my mind while I'm watching these. I was very much expecting you to Gunblaze here. So you got the knockdown, and then you were just kind of staying there. I probably would have Gunblazed just to switch sides and get out of the corner. There's nothing wrong with not doing it. And in fact, to be more precise, what I actually would have done is I would have ran up to her point blank and then did Gunblaze to try to bait, you know, a mash or a throw or whatever. And when you do that, if you set that expectation and they've seen you do that, then it becomes really good to, in the same kind of spot, run up and just do meaty 6K. Not like early meaty, just like enough meaty that they can't grab you. I don't know when it becomes throw and vuln. I don't know if it's frame 1 or what, but because if you put them in that situation and you Gunblaze out, they will expect the Gunblaze the next time, and you know, then the 6K becomes very tricky because they're expecting you to cross up and you don't, and it's like, you know, it's like a weird situation. Okay. Okay. So, oh, you should have gotten it. Yeah. So, let's back it up a little bit here. Okay, so you got the uppercut here. And then you got the sweep. And then you backed up. Why did you back up here? Were you scared of Danzai, or because it kind of looked like you didn't know what to do, or you weren't sure what you wanted to do? Danzai, okay. I don't know if, I mean, there's other Order Soul players in chat. Does Order Soul have an answer to Danzai on block? Like in between the hits, can you just Storm Viper? Also feeling how he was playing. Yeah, fair enough. But again, this goes back to, it's like the same advice I was giving Ephelle. When you bait a DP like this to this extreme where you just do nothing, you sacrifice a lot when they don't DP. So, you know, it's better to bait it in a way that if they don't DP, obviously you're still getting something, which is not hard to do against Danzai, honestly. So maybe we'll circle back if we can get through this quick enough, and we'll look at that in training mode. And then here, obviously, you missed the fact that she was going to transform. Is she going to get stunned twice? Oh, no. Seeing that twice in one round is pretty crazy. But yeah, it seems like it just takes time. You just need experience against ABBA to have the awareness to be aware of how much meter she has. So that when you knock her down, she's gonna be stunned. There's really no way around it. It's just experience. You just gotta practice paying attention to it. Practice being aware of it. Oh, good try. Ooh, unlucky. Still good, though. So this ABBA player is doing a lot of 2S in strings, which is whiffing over you, which is lucky for you. They really shouldn't be doing that. Uh-oh. Like the dead angle. So again here, the way you ran up to her, I would have bet all my money on Gunblaze. Again, it's not wrong that you didn't. It's just funny, because it's like almost expected so that you can get out of the corner, So it's something that maybe you want to start doing a little bit, not every time, but it's a good thing to switch sides and get out of the corner, As far as what you mentioned in your notes about how to value the knockdowns and stuff, that I think will be more clear to you once you pay more attention to the bar, and you're able to pay more attention to the bar is what I should have said, because then it's going to be more obvious to you, I think, when you just care about knocking her down versus actually doing damage. If she's at 20% and she has 60% of the blood bar, then you just kill her, right? You're just you're fighting her like a normal character. You just want to do damage. But if she's got 60% health and 50% blood bar, then maybe you care more about just knocking her down twice and instant killing her. Although I guess Order Soul can't instant kill her, right? So, which is something you should also probably practice, is a good combo for when she gets stunned, right? Since you can't IK her. But yeah. All right. So Venom, what was the thing you had? Ways to catch back jumps and avoidance. Okay. I mean, already what I'm seeing, you seem to be doing the right stuff. Jump H, ID jump H, rocket. These are great ways to stop Venom from jumping, stop him from backdashing, stuff like that. Okay. Okay. Combo. Oh, nice. Nice pickup. I mean, that round was good. You stayed on top of him pretty well. That was great. Didn't we talk about this? That was fantastic. The jump PP, and then you saw he was blocking, just brought him down to the ground. That was fantastic. So you're using a lot of 6H. I think I would recommend using 6H more as a Gatling, not necessarily raw. I think the strength of Order Soul's 6H is as a frame trap, not as like a poke. I don't think the hitbox really lends itself to like space control necessarily. It kind of can, but as you can see here, I mean, it just went right through him, right? So, in these kind of spots where you're like effectively neutral, because you like hit him with 2H, non-counter hit, recover at basically the same time, something like Far Slash would have been better if you're trying to just lock him down. Far Slash is the low reward option that's going to lock them down the most efficiently, right? If it hits them, it's not like especially great, but it's very hard for him to squirm out of. It's going to hit a jump, it's going to hit, basically anything that's not a faster button or blocking. Yo, what's up, Sly? How you doing, man? How the hot dog's been? Yo, are you vaccinated, Sly? I don't know 6H strings outside of 2S 6H. Yeah. Pfizer gang, hell yeah. We gotta hang out, man. We should get food or something. But yeah, Rupture, it's just another thing you can just go into training mode and experiment with, and it's the same idea. Obviously, it's not going to... Well, I shouldn't say obviously, because we didn't really look at it, did we? But I don't think it's on the same level of a frame trap as what we were just looking at, where it's going to catch the really, really fast buttons. It's not going to be like a tight frame trap. But against like Venom, for example, if he's trying to do 2S or something like that, 6H as a Gatling can be good in those kind of spots. Not a huge fan of the Gunblaze to approach there, but as long as you don't do it too much, it's okay. Okay. See, when I see this hesitation, it's like, you like ran in, you got like punched in the face, and you're like dazed. You're just like, what just happened, right? Like look at this little like whoa. So these spots. The thing is, you're chasing him down, but you're using like high committal options. You're IDing Gunblaze, Rocket. They're not like super risky, but there are risks associated, right? There is a risk. Yeah, Sly, see you in December for sure. You gonna go? Let's ride up together for sure. But just remember, you don't have to. We talk about this all the time. I'm going to say it again though, because we haven't talked about it tonight. And it's just such an important thing. You don't have to commit to an option like that. Like from this range, he whiffed his 2S. Let me rewind it a little bit. He whiffed 2S here. Far slash. Just far slash. The thing is, like, you can't just always go in, because if you always get in, even if you're mixing up your methods of how you're going in, the opponent still knows that you're running face first into them. And unless your options to get in are like omega godlike that they just can't be stopped, the fact that they know that you're about to go in is gonna let them counter it, right? It's gonna let them react to your IEDs with air grab. It's gonna let them, whatever. So just mixing up your rhythm with stuff like actual pokes, even though we all know what the deal is. We know that Order Soul doesn't want to be doing that. He's not trying to fight that fight, right? He's not trying to win the round with far slashes and sweeps and the neutral. There's no there's no misunderstanding here. But if you just pepper that in a little bit here and there, it will really make your intentions much harder to read for the opponent. And that little bit of uncertainty about what you're going to do will make your approaches even better indirectly. Does that make sense? And again, I talk about this all the time, but diversification is just so important. And in this case, we're talking about diversification of rhythm, of aggressiveness, right? So you just pump the brakes for just a second and you poke a little bit, and then maybe you trick them into thinking that, oh, all of a sudden we're playing a poking game, and then now you IED, right? So it's just mixing up your rhythm, mixing up your aggressiveness it's just important. Is 5H too committal? No, 5H is great too, and especially in a matchup like this. See, the thing is, again, things like Rocket. Rocket is the main one. Rocket is not very risky, right? It's just not, especially in a matchup like this. What's gonna happen? Was he gonna 2S you? Okay. It's like you just really do not care. But all the other stuff, there's some risk involved. Whereas 5H, again, it's or Far Slash or stuff like Fafnir. Again, it's not zero risk, but it's low risk. Again, what is Venom gonna do? Far Slash you? 2-slash you? Stinger, FRC, and then sweep you? Like, he's not, we're not talking about the potential for big damage here. So, 5H, even though on whiff, you might get whiff punished by Venom, he's going to whiff punish you with, like, Far Slash or 2-slash, and you're not going to care. Whereas you might time it in a way that it hits the startup of his far slash, and he gets counter hit, and it gives you an opportunity to stance cancel and run in or something like that, you know? Or 5H buffer rocket and get in his face that way, you know? Stuff like that. So you're afraid of whiffing, you're giving him screen control to set up his plan. Yo, Silent. What's going on? Thank you for the sub. Man, I feel like you just... I feel like I was just thanking you for your sub like a week or two ago. Has it been a month already? That's crazy. How's it going, man? So Rupture, I'm really glad you said that, because this is so important. We'll probably spend the rest of the time here just talking about this, and then we'll kind of skim through the rest of the replays, because it's so important. This again goes back to this idea of reading the opponent's intention, their aggressiveness, their passiveness. What are they looking for? What are they trying to do? And then adjusting your own knob. You know, these are all knobs and levers, right? How aggressive am I? How much do I want to IAD? How much do I want to far slash, right? These are all knobs and levers that you're constantly adjusting. And the goal should always be, with any character in any matchup, is to read what the opponent is doing, what they're looking for, how aggressive they're being, all these things, and then adjust your own gameplay to beat whatever they're doing. And again, it sounds very simple. I'm not saying it's easy. And it's also something where knowing what to set your own knobs and dials to takes experience, or it takes labbing and understanding, you know, okay, if he's doing this, I know that doing this is going to beat that, or he's looking for this, and when he's looking for that, he can't look for this. You know, these are things you have to learn, and learn some of it through experience. But, you know, what you're saying is, I'm afraid of whiffing and giving him screen control to set up his plan. And so I'm gonna extend that a little bit. I'm gonna say it more specifically. The way I interpret that is, I'm afraid of whiffing, and then he's going to get to summon a ball, right? He's going to get a ball summon. What makes you think, at this point in time, this Venom is even considering summoning a ball? What has he done that has made you think that that is what he's trying to do? Do you understand the question? Do you kind of see what I'm asking? Has he shown you that that's what he's trying to do? Look at everything he's done in the last 5 or 10 seconds. Like, look at this again, right? Scrambling. He got away from you. He backed up. He's swinging. This is the most important for this question. What did he do when he got back to neutral? He poked with far slash. Did he cancel far slash into a ball? No. He did 2 slash. Then what? He jumped back. When he jumped back, did he try to summon a ball? No. He jumped back and then air dashed forward. Right? Look at this. Jump, air dash forward. So, I'm going to ask you again now. Is this Venom trying to zone you? Is he trying to summon a ball? He's not. He's not. It's not that he hates balls. It's not that he is opposed to the idea. If it was up to him, he would love to get set up and zone you to death. That would be fantastic for him. But the reality is, you are not letting him, because you are playing aggressively. And so and it's also important to understand that it's not that necessarily your opponent is mindful God and is saying to himself consciously, well, this guy's going in, so I can't summon. A lot of the time, this is instinctual, right? He's just caught up in this fast pace. He can just feel that he doesn't have time to do it, and in those cases, it's even better for you, because sometimes you can get ahead of them where they don't even realize that you've switched up the pace. But the point here is that you've already set the tone. You've set the tone, and your opponent has now adjusted their knobs, and they have matched your tone. So they are no longer trying to zone you. They are trying to stop you because you've shown them over and over, I'm going in. Rocket, ID, jump in, gun blaze, I'm going in. So correctly your opponent is saying, okay, well then I'm just gonna control space, I'm gonna do far slash, I'm gonna ID at you, and air to air you, I'm gonna preempt your approach, right? So all you have to do now is say, okay, he's not trying to run from me. I can just slow down and stop running into the shit that he's doing to control space. Does that make sense? Yeah, they've given up on zoning you. Exactly, they've given up. Exactly right. They've given up. And don't think that it can't switch again. So, you know, almost ideally, you would slow down, and if they're really good, ideally they would see you slow down and say, he's giving me more breathing room because I've been fighting him. And then they would start to summon, right? And you go back and forth. And this is the dance, right? You just keep going back and forth, the two of you. And whoever does it better is going to be the one that comes out on top usually. So, you know, it's just so important. Yeah, I just can't stress it enough. You have to be paying attention to, you know, what the opponent is telling you. And this guy is just screaming that he's not trying to zone you. He is fighting you. And the reason that you're getting messed up here is because you are throwing yourself at him and he's actually preempting your approach. He's so prepared for you to go in because it's all you've been doing. So if you now just take a step back, like, think about all the stuff he just did, and think about if you weren't trying to approach. He jumped back and air dashed at you, right? He landed and did far slash, right? These are things that, you know, I mean, the far slash, if you had ID'd, it actually would have been good, but you get the idea, right? So, you know, you can tone it down a little bit in these cases, and you know, throw off the pace, throw off the rhythm, switch it up. And again, by doing that, it will make your approaches better, because now, you know, he's trying to preempt your approach. He's air dashing at you, trying to meet you in the air, stuff like that. So if you just stutter step it a little bit and change your timing, he's going to be on the wrong timing, and you're going to get the better of it. You know, he's going to ID and whiff something, trying to preempt your approach. He's going to whiff something, and then you're going to air to air him, you know? So patience. So this is good patience, but it's a little too patient. You don't want to just sit and block. At the very least, you want to dash and block. Because the longer you wait for the ball to come to you, the longer it takes you to eventually come out of the block stun. So you want to actually block these things as quickly as you can and get it over with. You know, just rip the band-aid off, basically. Like here, like look at how bad it was for you, you know, that you waited for this ball, and then he was able to get all the way in your face, you know what I mean? Ooh, scramble. Yeah, the gun blazes are questionable. And I know we've talked about this also. It just takes practice. But, you know, anytime you're doing jump P, you should always be trying to hit confirm it. Jump P, try to hit confirm into DP. And again, this is something you can practice in training mode. 2 Ps into DP are horrible for you. So if you want to practice that more in training mode, set the dummy to jump and set the dummy to random block. And then just air to air them. And when they block, just keep doing 2P until they... Oh, on the 2P side. Oh, did you try and it didn't come out? Oh, well, you did jump S and it whiffed, right? Why did the jump S not come out? I don't know, the timing of that jump S just didn't come out, but yeah, I mean, you just gotta practice the input, yeah. Damn, it's 3 already. I gotta go to sleep. Might have to leave off the next one, or the last one for next time. So he is trying to summon a little bit now, but I mean, you're staying on top of him, so it's not really working. Nice, 2S rocket. That's gonna hit him. Oh, it didn't. So this looks so funny. This right here can't pin him down. All right, let me go back. Let me go back. We'll start this round over. You're talking about this, like this whole beginning of this round where you couldn't get pressure. So I mean, right here again, this was an opportunity. Here you air to aired him, but you didn't confirm into DP. So you know, that kind of changes the situation a little bit. So you're talking about this whole thing, right? Like that little like sequence. Okay, so what I would say here is, so he kind of got away from you here, and then you're swinging, but you're, how can I phrase this? You're just kind of swinging. I don't know how to phrase this. Like, you're kind of swinging at the wrong times, which doesn't really mean anything because it's kind of results based. Where, you know, I can say that now because they're not hitting, but if you find yourself in, yeah, it's almost like offbeat is kind of, yeah, like just the way this played out, because he like ID'd over you, and then you swung here, and it was just like the wrong timing and spacing for that. It was like the wrong button, and then he hit you, and then you whiffed through him, and then like this far slash was like never gonna hit him. But what I would say is, if you find yourself in the moment where you're feeling this, where you're feeling this feeling of like he's like slipping away from me constantly, I would say slow it down a little bit, just like dash block. Just like dash in a little bit and block and assess, because a lot of the time this happens all the time, even in like higher level play, where it's like what people are saying in chat, where it's like your timing is just off, like the rhythm is off between the two of you. You're just on like different wavelengths. So I always like to just when I find myself in these kind of spots, I just try to like reset. You know what I mean? I just try to just stop and almost like reset my timing. So, you know, when you find yourself like, okay, he ran and I ID'd, and then I landed and I ran and he ID'd, it's like, all right, time out. let's get this straightened out because we're on different wavelengths here. You know what I mean? And just like reset. So like here, once I saw you whiff this far slash, I would have just like started dash blocking and just like tried to figure out like, what is this guy doing right now? Because you're clearly what you think he's doing is not what he's doing. You know what I mean? All right, then you get the throw. And this was, you just missed the meaty. You know, this is just a timing / experience thing. I can't believe that didn't hit. That is wild. So this, I was about to point out when I looked at chat before, why were you just stand blocking here? This is like crazy. And it's also crazy that he didn't take advantage of it and just sweep. But yeah, you definitely should have been blocking low here. You literally blocked the entire string standing. Like, it looks so weird. Okay. Okay. See, and this is another example. This is a perfect example, actually. So look at what he did here, right? You were all over him. You were getting some damage in, and then he got away from you, right? He dashed back, or he jumped back. I mean, but he didn't try to zone you. He tried to preempt your approach, and he actually air dashed forward. And look at what he did. He did really high up jump H. So again, this goes back to what I was saying before, where if you just switch up your timing a little bit, he hung himself here. If you just did nothing and just blocked this jump H, I mean, I could get into the technical details of it, but you have a very strong advantage here, is the bottom line. If he doesn't do anything, you can throw him when he lands, and if he cancels in a mad struggle, you can anti-air him in between. If you don't want to take any risks, you just block this and then DP. It's going to be anything he does. So, yeah, you could have chicken blocked it and then air grabbed him. It's like a million things you could have done. So, I mean, the simplest, because of the level of the Venom, you probably could have just stand blocked it. He wouldn't have reacted, and you could have just thrown him when he landed. So this is a perfect example of this only worked because you're just relentlessly going in. So if you just stutter step and just break up your timing a little bit, stuff like this, like what we were just talking about, where you were on the wrong timing for him. If you had hesitated here, he would have been on the wrong timing for you, and he would have just whiffed this completely, or not necessarily whiffed it, but it would have been bad, because you would have been in a different position and you would have had an advantage. I mean, again, not to harp on it too much, but look at how just relentlessly you're going in. I mean, he is trying to summon, but that Gunblaze wasn't bad because of the ball. But the thing with Gunblaze is just like, it's so rare that it actually hits them. Oh, good try on the conversion. And so when all it does is avoid a projectile, a lot of the time it still has too much recovery to really be that good, So, but yeah, good stuff. We talked about a lot. I wanted to do one more, but I can't. I will be fucked up tomorrow if I do. I gotta just go to sleep. So maybe I'll just wind down with like a few minutes of net play. But yeah, good stuff. Again, a lot of the stuff that we just talked about, I'm not saying it's easy. But it's just so important, that trying to develop the skills early will help you a lot, because it's a skill that you'll continue to work on, for your entire fighting game career, basically. Yo, what's up, Stone? Rupture. I'm just marking you complete here. Oh, that's not the right field. Oh, and I need to mark your points as well.